We're on.
We are. We're on. Good evening, all, and welcome back to this week's GKP Live. Hope everybody's good and had a good week up to press. How's it been going for you, mate? You've been keeping busy?
Yep.
Yep, very much so. Did you manage to get all those fish out of the bottom mud pond this afternoon from the little video you sent through?
Finished them this afternoon.
There was some pretty nice looking shasui in there, mate, in that last little bucket that you sent through in the group chat. There was a couple of pretty good looking, nice zipped ones in there.
Good
I'm not a massive fan of them, mate, but you got a nice sky blue to them, haven't they? They've got some good quality to them.
Yeah, they do well in the light clay ponds. They look sky blue, electric blue almost. So, yeah. Pond was right. I think we were about 60 missing. 510, I think we took out.
510, so 60 odd missing out of. That's how long have they been in there then, Rick? From start of putting them in to.
Yeah, they would have gone back in. I think they went back in May. So they went in May, but they were only. I suppose they were 10 to 15 cm when they went in.
Oh, so some of them have put some decent size on them then, haven't they? Because what your average were in? 25 to 30, 35-ish? Some of them?
I think about 28. We measured a few. 28 was sort of the middle ground. So, yeah, I mean, we worked out they'd done some like 60, 65, 70 meters of fish in total. So when you feel that, it's quite a lot. But
that's quite good going, that, isn't it?
But yeah, when they go in, they're quite vulnerable. Yeah, all sorts.
So when you've got, like, for example, you're putting them in at like 10 to 15s. When you're putting them into a new pond, I'm guessing they're all probably going to be shoaling up quite a lot. You know, like you see them all grouping up together. Is it when they're shoaling up, they're more at risk, or is it more at risk when they're out there wandering off on their own?
Through the summer, they go through different periods. So when they first go in, the ponds are clear because it's full of live food, and there's not enough weight of fish to stir them up. So they're going into a crystal clear water, and they tend to just swim mostly around the edge to start with, like idiots. So the kingfisher will nail some early, even though they're a bit big for the kingfisher. We still lose some to the kingfisher. Yeah. And then the heron has his share, and then the cormorant tends to hit them later. Like the autumn cormorant's gotten there a couple of times, even though it's fenced and stringed and
I suppose that, I mean, unless you put like a string across every couple of inch, which would make it damn near impossible for you actually to get in there. Thank you very much, Lorraine. I got the little super chat in there. Look at that. Thank you. Which we're going to bring me on to a subject in a minute. We will bring that up, but obviously it's going to be something that we're going to try to see if we can aim towards, and hopefully if we can do it, then it's going to be you will see. But thank you very much, Lorraine. I appreciate that. That's got the topic going, so to speak. So like if you were to put them, I've seen them before in some places where they seem to be like 6 to 12 inches apart, but making it damn near impossible then to net off, I would imagine, more difficult.
No, you can still work as you work under the strings, but because of the shape of our ponds, our farm's quite sort of natural. Yeah. So the shape of the ponds are all over the place. You could, if you put higher tension wires around the outside, and if it's nice and square, then you can have more. And yes, they would be safer, but those ponds, even when we put the fencing around, the pond gets bigger every year. The fish.
Yeah, you really could see that and all, couldn't you, on live?
Yeah, and obviously some of the posts, the original fence posts that were on the bank, are now, 18 inches in the pond.
In the water.
Obviously the fence, it's just one of those things without going round and put in steel pilings all the way around, which would, so you can make it a solid. It costs a fortune. So we've always gone down the path. At the end of the day, those ponds that we can't fully protect, we put fish in there that we expect to lose 10%, whatever. It's not ideal, but it's losing those fish, and especially when you lose them early. You don't want to lose any, but it's just how it is, isn't it? make it fit.
I mean, yeah, you're losing them at this sort of size where the values are a lot less than what they are at this sort of size. But I mean, a cormorant can take some at that sort of size with ease, can't it?
I mean, they're the big issue. Obviously, the heron does a bit of damage. Some ponds will get 100% return from without, like one of the big ponds. We have no fence, no strings, no nothing, and we don't lose any fish in it. Just the way
just
it is.
One they don't like to go around.
There's just one, a particular one. We can put big fish in there. Generally, no bother at all. Some of the outlying ponds where there's not people around all the time, the heron will sort of land on the fence and then work out that he can drop between the strings and land on a bit of overgrown vegetation. And once they find their way, and I'm sure they show each other. There won't be one on there for a week or two, and then suddenly you'll find one that's got in there, and he's getting in and out, and then suddenly the next week there's two, and they're using the same areas. So they're clever birds, aren't they? And you just,
Is it right? I mean, I know I've heard Vince saying it, but is it right though? They'll actually come down to the point where they fill themselves up and they can barely even take off.
Cormorants will. Cormorants can't fly when they've had a good fill. And that's where you see them sat in the tree.
They're there for a day or two.
Yeah, well, they'll come in and they'll just fill themselves up. And they'll take 20, sort of 6 to 8 inch fish in a hit. And then they'll sit on the side and literally just digest them. They can't fly. If you scare them at that point, they regurgitate them and then fly off. So you end up with a load of dead fish.
Yeah, and then a bird that flies off and comes back and does it all over again, no doubt.
Yeah.
The
strings tend to keep the cormorants off. If the ponds are stirred up, tends to keep the cormorants off. But this time of year, the fish stir the ponds up less, so they go clearer, so they become vulnerable.
Yeah, again.
And it's the colder the water, the slower the fish become. So if we do get an otter, a mink, whatever in, the colder it is, the more damage they do quicker, because they
just ain't got a chance of getting away and they're not as quick on it.
Yeah, so that's why everything has to sort of be hauled out now. It's not just for selling purposes; it's for safety purposes.
Yeah. So right, obviously when I'm watching on Dave's video and on Vince's live, and I've done a little bit of a catch up on it. Oh, sorry, mate, I was on a crap site, so I couldn't even get a decent enough signal to watch. But you can see the underpinning all the way around. Now, for all those that know Rick's farm, well, New Forest Koi. Sorry, mate, I don't like what yours then. But for all those that know New Forest Koi, you'll know that quite often shown on videos, quite often shown on the lives regular, that they have a quad and they go around and they hand feed most of the mud ponds, don't you? In fact, near enough all the proper mud ponds, as in not the linered out ones. So there's a track that they go around on the quad. Now, if you've just said they're like 18 inches, some of those posts, and now in the ponds, you're going to be getting close at some point in the near future to be losing part of your track.
That's why we can't get the machinery in it. That's part of the. So when we did the lake last year, that was the same problem. The fish dig the banks, the banks collapse, and that's why we had to put steel pilings on the back of the lake, between the lake and the river.
Yeah,
because you'll see the length of the lake. At the top end, the river will flow. When it floods, it'll actually flow into the lake. But by the time you get to the other end of the lake, the river's dropped about 6 foot. So obviously, as the river flows, it's got downward gradient. So the whole length of the lake. So at the far end of our lake, the bottom of our lake is above the surface of the river at its natural height. So if that bank was to go, the entire lake would just go
with it.
And that's how we can drain. Also, we can pull the plug and drain the entire lake from that end, because we've got the drop to the river. But obviously, as the fish over the years, the river digs one way, the fish have dug the other. So what was probably about a 30-foot wide bank had got down to about 10 foot.
God damn.
At the top. So
they can really make
which is where we've had to then. Yeah. So we put steel pilings in. It was a lot, and we couldn't get the machinery. We had to do it mostly by hand until we got the pilot. Then we could once we start putting the pilings in, we could get the dig around, and we had enough strength just do it. But it was
So
a bit of a nightmare.
Would it not be, I mean, I know you probably won't be able to get that big a machine in now, but would it not be a good idea once you've drained them all down and you start, because you drain them all down for the winter period, don't you? And then you kick them back off again and fill them back up in spring? Or will you leave them, will you fill it back up pretty much straight away, that one that you've just emptied?
No, they're if we can, we tend to leave them empty, and then we can lime them if we need to, freeze dry them. The ponds are much better when they've been left.
Yeah.
But
so
sometimes we have to hold them with water, depending on what's...
Would it not be? I've got to replace that cable. There's going to be somebody in the background now saying, "Change that chuffing cable." Would it not be an idea now then, whilst you've got the chance, while it's empty, then to take out some of the bottom and backpile them and close them back up again? You know, like dredge the bottom a little bit to bring those sides and backfill them in again, so that they've got something to work at through next season.
The bottoms are basically liquid clay, so you could, if we get them, we can't get the machinery in, but if we could de-silt them, but we've got nowhere to put it. So if you take,
that's what I mean. Could you not build the banks where they've mined?
Yeah, but the cost of the steel pilings and what is horrendous to try and do that area.
Is that they kind of interlink into each other?
They interlink, and you bang them down and whatever. So we probably will have to, in certain areas where the lakes are enclosing on the narrower bits of track or whatever. But yeah, we've got to a situation where you can't get the machinery in because everything's got to the point where it's sort of too narrow. There's nowhere to put the liquid silt and clay from the bottom. You can't take it off site, otherwise it's toxic waste. It's a nightmare. If you can leave it on your site, it's fine. But if you've got to remove it from site, it's an expensive process. So when we did the lake, there's enough room between the lake and the river in places. So we created with a digger, basically created a dam and put the silt across. But it literally kills everything. So the ground behind the main lake, wherever we could, we de-silted. And we've done it a few times over the years. So, you build the bank up an extra 6 foot, and that just compresses down to maybe 2 foot as it dries out and turns back to sort of super rich.
It's a major job then, really.
It's quite major. So we'll film one. We're doing one of the ones we can get at. We're going to clear the ground tomorrow, and then we'll get the digger in this winter, and I'm sure that'll end up on film where we're clearing that one back. But that one, we've got the ground and the space, we can get the machinery and we can do it. But the one I've just drained at the far end of the site, the clay down that whole end of the site is so soft. It's just, it's a nightmare. Great for
that sticky boots situation job, getting yourself bogged into it and getting a leg stuck job.
Yeah, it's just one of those. The silt, if you can leave them empty and for a decent period through the winter, it shrinks back and it becomes back to normal ground again. So that they kind of work. It's the ones we can't get all the water out of that were built. The drains weren't at the lowest point. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When we originally built some of them, we dug them much deeper than we could get the water out to the next place. Put the drains in, and then we used to pump them out. But when you pump them out, you can't keep them empty. So yeah, if we could leave a 4-inch pipe out and the drain's right at the bottom, the whole pond just dries out, no problem. But those that have got a deeper sump that we pump, so
it's technically just going to keep filling back up with all crap.
There's so much water comes down that site because it's such a slope.
Yeah,
it's hindsight, and we built it 30 years ago. A lot of those ponds were dug. Didn't think long.
Yeah, I bet you never. I bet from 30 years ago to now, there's a mass difference in the sizes of the lakes. Then, how long does it take them to make an underpinning or like that on that bank? Is that from a season or a couple of seasons?
It's sort of continued. Depends on the type of bank, the fish we have in there. But yeah, the ponds have probably all grown 25% surface area bigger than they were originally dug. But they're all shallow. They become shallower.
Shallower,
bigger. But it's just one of those things, isn't it?
I suppose that's one way you could deal with it. You could dig them deeper and have them deeper towards the middle so that they were shallower towards the edge, so it didn't really brim to the top, kind of thing, and you could claim some back by.
Yeah, I think the only way of really doing it is, like say, rebuilding the banks. With some form of material or pilings or whatever. But it becomes quite massive groundworks to start doing it, which.
Well, I've watched
it'll be done
on site, mate, and that's a long job, isn't it? Because they go down a long way into the ground, don't they? And they have them like on a machine that grabs hold of them, kind of holds them and vibrates it all the way down, doesn't it, as it goes in, and interlocking it into each other.
Yeah, well, we'd say we had to do the original ones on the back of the lake. No one wanted to do it because the access to it, you can't do it from in the lake because the silt was too deep and the clay is just too wet. But you couldn't get big enough machinery, but we couldn't get big enough machinery in, and then the bank was too narrow around the other side. So until we actually started by hand doing it, then we could get a digger onto the bit we'd done and then start building its own path, as it were. But yeah.
We got a quick question there from Michael that says, question, does Rick release his keepers?
There's no such thing as keepers.
When does Rick release his keepers? So the ones that I'm guessing that's going to be the ones that you've selected and said, like, for example, the ones that you're putting back out again to grow on, those are going to be going on to Sandside then, yeah?
Yeah, every year, obviously, we have to keep X amount of toes, X amount of knee side, whatever, so for growing on, but we always keep more than we need. So when they get sorted out in, say, April, we'll release some if we've got more than we need, because obviously we have to keep more than we need in case we lose any.
Yeah.
Or things go wrong, whatever. So we normally have another release of better quality toe side and knee side in sort of April time when we're selecting through what's being kept and what's not. And then obviously when you harvest them in the autumn, so what's being kept from the knee side now, obviously will be released to Sandside this time next year.
Yeah.
It's just a continual sort of shuffling process of hopefully keeping the right ones to grow on. And obviously if you've got too many certain varieties, then obviously better fish of those varieties get released because we've got more than we need of them. So they've got to be sold.
Am I right in saying, I think what you said when I caught it on the video is you put out, with those that you harvested the other day, there was some of the Ginrin shags and Karashis that went out with them, and there weren't one come in.
I think we had three of the shags come back. Basically, the fish that are gone,
and mostly the shags and Karashis,
and then the few that we don't normally put shags back out in the mud ponds for that reason. They just suicidal.
They just give themselves away.
But certain fish, asagis, shishuis, certain varieties have got. You don't even see them in the mud ponds. You put them in and they stay deep. They do really well, but they'll come up on food. But they really keep themselves out of the way. They've got a natural sense of sensibility for staying away from predators. And then there's other varieties you just put them back and they swim around. And you might have sometimes when we first put them out in April, May, they'll swim around on the surface eating the Daphnia, and we might have a tern or a seagull, whatever, come along and go, oh, dive, grab one. Some of the varieties will then just disappear, and then you still have a shoal of, like I say, chagoi or kahakus or whatever that don't seem to have the same brain. They'll still swim around the top and again and again until there's none left.
Yeah, so, and then they're all nailed off. But that's why everybody has them in the pond, though, aren't they? Because they are so tame, come up and feed from you. It's your chags and your karashi guys are the greediest buggers that normally exist within your pond and end up coming up and getting so friendly that they don't fear anything, like you said.
It sort of works both ways, but they are vulnerable if you put them in a natural situation where there is predators. They ain't very good at
keeping away. Susan's put in there, would it make sense just to put a pond liner down?
You can't, because the water, the ground is saturated. So obviously you could put a liner in and fill it up, But obviously, if you try and pump it out, water will get underneath it.
You get it underneath, kind of thing.
Just turning, So, yeah, the whole point of the clay pond is to use the clay. You can potentially drop it down the sides and bury it in and protect the sides a bit more. But again, it only works to a certain extent. And once you tend to find that if that rips whatever, fish get bit, it just becomes an absolute nightmare. So it's just something we live with. If we have to put steel pilings in certain areas on certain ponds, we will, and back them up. And if we do that, then obviously we can regain path and desilt into space or whatever. But yeah, that end of the site is just so wet. It moves, literally the ground sort of moving all the time down the valley. So yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, because everything it is at the bottom of everything, and you would end up with, because you're emptying a heck of a lot of water out of one pond into another, to another, to another, and it all makes its way down, doesn't it? So all that system that you had would no longer be able to be used either, would it? Because it'd be
no, yeah. I mean, again, with hindsight, everything draining from one to another. We manage it, but it would be nice to actually get that water off site. Yeah, some of so we might go from two tiers of Tozo ponds to then a couple of tiers of the smaller mud ponds down to the lake. So all the waste inevitably ends up down in the big lake at the bottom. So it becomes like a giant settlement, which is why that silt in that one's always so bad, and why we've had to clear that one out.
Well, you had to get the machines in and clear it. And that was a lot of silt, wasn't it? That was a hell of a lot. Tons and tons of it.
Crazy amounts. But at the end of the day, we can't discharge directly into the river because the Environment Agency will be on our backs. So obviously what water we take comes on site goes off site, but it goes off site clean because we've basically used the lake as a big settlement. Yeah. But the downside of that is, at some point you've got to take that. That's got to come out and be dealt with. But again, if someone gave me a blank piece of land, you'd probably have something with slightly different shapes, so you could get rid of water. There's 10 ton of food goes onto the site. That's a lot of fish poo and waste, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah,
I'll go somewhere.
But so this was something I was meaning to ask you last time we were down there. When you're doing what you've been doing, like with a mud pond, and like let's say for a farmer growing crops, they'll grow for a year, and then another year they'll rotate with a different crop, and then they'll do a year where they go fallow, don't they? And they don't put anything in. Do you do anything like that when it comes to a mud pond? Do you harvest, grow each year, or do you give it a year off kind of thing and not do anything with it, or do you just keep going time and time again?
Going. Basically, you keep going because at the end of the day, they're left empty for 8 months, 6 months, 8 months of the year anyway through the winter period. But you're not taking a farmer uses the nutrients in the field to grow the crops. We're not using nutrients in the pond. In fact, it's the opposite. We're putting
providing it with more nutrients, really. Yeah.
So in an ideal world, it would be if we could clean the ponds
out. It'd be a good place to grow crops.
Yeah, but that's why the vegetation around the farm is just like it's on steroids, isn't it?
Like 7 foot tall.
Yeah, because the amount of nutrient, and obviously when we do deal with desilt and put silt somewhere or whatever, that's super rich. The water's all I suppose it'd be quite nice to leave a pond and you could grow a crop, drain it, leave it empty and grow a crop through it, which is something you can do. You can grow peas and whatever in the bottom, but you lose a whole summer of a pond, then you still got to remove that crop. Yeah. And everything else, otherwise you're just going to, if you fill it back up and let it rot off, you're just back in the same situation or whatever. So yeah, it's the ponds that work right. You could use them. That pond will do 70 meters of fish every year consistently. It's not a problem because it's new water. We refill it. It holds over 1 million liters of water or whatever. And it's because of the way the water goes through the site, that probably gets water changed every 2 weeks for a lot of, when we're normal conditions. Yeah. So it's not a problem, but that's when the ponds go right. Our biggest problems, the weeds. Sometimes if the weed gets a good foothold,
Vince can tell you that. He's been busy, hasn't he, with his streamers. I mean, that's a lot of secretary work, that, isn't it? Going around, snip, 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 snip. You want to get him one of those big edge trimmers, whoosh, straight around it all.
But there's a fence for it all. That's the problem.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you
He's
go around
he is a bit like a bull in a china shop, and so that'll be cutting through everything and fence and lot.
In the winter, when it all dies back a bit, it's much easier. We can get around, tidy up, sort it out. But yeah, it's such a big.
He shifted a hell of a lot, though, mate, didn't he? For that on the, was it Tuesday we're down, or the Monday that we're down, and just got his tunes on and he did a good way around that, a 3/4 way around that lake, didn't he?
On that one, yeah. And it was if when they're done it, when we do them properly, if you can stay on top of it, it's a lot easier. But
yeah,
it's just
there's so many. Well, this is
staff just cutting, strimming. Full
you
time.
could do with a full-time landscaper, couldn't you? Really?
We used to have a full-time guy that used to literally do it. That was just trimming the path, lawn mowing, cutting everything back. But it's a member of staff. It's a full wage for. It makes the site better.
Yeah, again,
it doesn't really bring anything back in, and it just become untenable.
Yeah. So right, when you've got like this time of year now, because obviously now you're shut to the public and you're open by appointment only.
Yeah.
Which means if anybody wanted to come down, they can make an appointment. Obviously, just for anybody that is interested or would want to go, you can still make appointments to come down and see whatever they want to do or make any purchases that they want to do. So at this time of year now, then, what is your biggest projects that you are undertaking?
Still harvesting. We've still
harvesting. Would that normally be the case if you weren't, like you said the other day, we're like 2.5 months behind, or we've still got this to do? Because you've been saying all year, like, we're still behind. We're still behind. You never.
No, I think the problem is when you work out the scale. So say it was 110 ponds, whatever it is we got. So if you best will in the world, if you start harvesting in September and you're doing 2 ponds a day, you're running into December. It's just
December's a real long month.
You can't harvest. You can't harvest any earlier. A, you're going to be losing your growing window, which is short enough as it is. And B, if you start moving fish when it's too warm, you're going to have no end of grief. So it's.
You've got to play it by the seasons and however the weather is on the actual.
That's just how it is. And obviously, if you've got more staff or whatever, but it's not just harvesting the fish; they've got to go places. Yeah. So you've got to free the ponds that they're going to have got to be done before you do the ponds they're coming from, and it's just a juggling act all the time. And if we can get as many fish sold so we can get the orders backed up for a certain size or whatever fish that we know we're going to be harvesting, then we can literally be harvesting and preparing them for transport and getting them. The quicker they go off the site, the better, because we haven't got to then use ponds and space holding them for longer periods. But this time of year, the orders always start drying up because people aren't wanting to buy fish. So suddenly you get this sort of backlog of I'm harvesting this pond, and then we're going to be refilling that same pond with fish 2 weeks down the line, but there'll be fish that can use that space, and so it might be an unheated pond outside. So you've got to harvest the best ones that are in there, make sure the best ones go somewhere where they can be looked after, then refill that pond with standard grade fish that are just sales fish, but need somewhere or whatever. So it's just
it's a juggling act, isn't it? It literally is. You're spinning plates, aren't you? Everywhere, and we're juggling at the same time and trying to make sure you keep everything as it should be ticking over.
Pretty much. And then obviously you've got all that time now. We're having to go around and obviously health check and water checks. We're stacking up ponds with a lot more fish. So obviously the mud ponds have got to be left empty. So all those fish are now moving up to liner ponds, so the stock densities are being overloaded, so you've got to be on top of the water quality and health checking and all that, so that starts taking a lot of your time. And still we've still got fish going out, so they've all got to be prepared and ready, and it just it's just that time of year, isn't it? And suddenly it turns cold in December and it all suddenly just stops, and then you go on to the jobs where they're cutting all the trees down, the ground maintenance, those jobs that needed doing that you've been putting off because you've got to do other stuff.
But then you give yourself another task load of jobs to try and get done before April, before it all kicks off again. Once you start a project, you're away, aren't you? Have you got anything big like last year when you went from building the new Munga tunnel? Actually, we will touch on that as well. I mean, I know we are talking pretty much just with Rick because there's just me and Rick here, but there's like last season, you went into the winter months, didn't you? And you started kicking off doing the Munga tunnel. You were getting in ready for doing that and getting all that going just before everything kicked off. How well has the Munga tunnel performed in your expectations towards the last one that you had prior?
It's better.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So it's not. It's better. It's not suited. It's not in the best site. I'm not getting the temperatures I want because where I've had to put it is now that the sun's barely clearing the trees, so it's getting a lot more. It's not as hot as I want it, but the ponds, everything else is running better than the other.
At least this one, you don't get a fishing nuts when you're in there netting it off, do you?
Well, but yeah, it's almost like a learning curve, isn't it? You do project one, works right. Our whole farm's like it. Everything we've done, you go, actually, I wish next time I'll do this deeper, or do that wider, or do that more insulated, or do that here so it gets more sun, or and that's just constant.
The only reason why I thought I'd ask, Rick, because in comparison to what you had size-wise now to what you had in the other one, you could have probably got 3 of those pools in the last one, couldn't you? That other one was a good length, but was it not as deep?
It wasn't much difference in depth, but the other one it's exactly the same tunnel. So my area is exactly.
Oh, is it? It is the same tunnel. It appears when you look at it, it looks smaller, doesn't it?
But last time I built the pond, and the tunnel it basically was touching one side, and I had
so the only way in the tunnel in the pool in the pond was literally in the pond, wasn't it? You had
pretty
to
much. The whole pond was the
no
tunnel.
walkways around it.
No, the whole pond was kind of the tunnel, and then obviously the filters are at the ends, but all incorporated with it. So it was just literally every spare inch of the tunnel was being used. This one, you can actually walk right the way around everything. And Dave and Vince have got a pond at the end as well. And it's much more manageable. I think I could do the same amount of fish, if not more fish now, in less water. But it's not going to get as hot. It doesn't get as hot because it's not getting that full on.
Yeah, like it was at the other one, because it were in a pretty opened area, wasn't it? There were nothing around it there, was there? Just literally sat there under baking sun all day.
So it was too hot that one at times. That's why I had the big shade in it, because that's the only way I could keep it sort of down. It was used to run it. Well, I had the air source heat pump running set at 36 to keep it cool, because it was going over. It was going 38, 40. It was going
to chill it down as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah, so it's having to be chilled. When you do get those hot 2 weeks, the heat pumps on chill mode.
Your 2 weeks is 2 days for us up here in Yorkshire. So
it varies every year, doesn't it? But at the end of the day, it's one of those. If you go beyond a certain temperature, you're going to kill them.
Yeah. So a heap load of trouble. So then, like with last year, all up and going, and pretty well last year, this season almost pretty much come up to an end. You had a good success rate with a lot of fry, and you move a lot of fry on, as do a lot of koi farms. You did say quite a lot this year. They just haven't got room for them all. Would you not be thinking, or would it not be a good idea to perhaps put another little polytunnel down? Where you got the first one, the grading station is, and you got your second one, which has got your fry grow on areas. Would it not be advantageous to yourselves to put in another polytunnel at the side of it and bank up again with some more fry batches? Because I mean, they're your big sale out there. The fry move a lot, and you get rid of a lot, and you shift through them quick. If you could produce more, you could sell more, and you could move on more. But you did say you didn't have enough room to do any more, and you'd got abundance of, or lack of room and abundance of fry.
No, I think there's a finite amount of the fry, and obviously the cost, the brine shrimp is already costing. If I put another tunnel in with another 6 ponds, there's another hatchery. that's another bag of brine shrimp every day.
Yeah, well, so that's
another X amount of labour. I think the fry, I think that what we do is probably, we never did the fry as something to sell. It's a byproduct of what we do. So obviously every spawning we do, there's too many eggs, too many offspring necessary for what we want. So it was just a surplus.
Yeah. So let's say if you wanted, I don't know, 20,000 of one spawn and you've got 500,000 eggs, the surplus is you keep what you require for what you need for yours and the rest are sold on. Yeah, but
we don't. So if I know I'm only going to have 2 fry ponds for this kahaku spawning, and she's a big fish, I'll only keep I'll only keep a percentage of the eggs anyway, because I don't want to overload the fry ponds or the hatchery ponds or the ponds they're going to. But I need more. So if I want 20,000 offspring from her, I'll probably keep 50,000 eggs. That gives me, if I lose a percentage on hatch or the fertilization rate's not great, I should end up with what I want plus a few spare. If I try and keep all 500,000 of them, I'm going to have no end of grief with the water quality. I'm going to need more ponds in the hatchery to hatch them all. It doesn't pay. It's one of those things where with koi, numbers is kind of everything, but actually having less, you end up with more.
Yeah.
So, but if you don't have
it makes sense, because obviously more pollutants in the water, you end up with more problems, more issues. You could end up with more losses, and then there's having somewhere to put them and all the rest of it. So
yeah, the moment I think the thing with the early stages of fries, the minute you go slightly too many fish in a pond, slightly too many eggs, slightly whatever, if your water quality goes or the food can't, you ruin the batch.
Yeah.
For having 10% more, you can ruin 100% of them. So you're just better off having less and doing better with them. And it's still counterintuitive, and you can't help yourself when you've got a big female and you think this is the best fish we've got. You can't help but try and keep more, but it is counterproductive, and it is one of those. Yeah, and the way we obviously hand strip, we can then just go, well, actually, I'm only going to put 10,000 eggs in this pond. Whatever, if they hatch right, then I've got the right number. I'm only feeding the exact number of fish that I want to put out to that fry pond. I'm not feeding stuff that I don't want to feed. I'm not risking water quality by having too many fish. I'm just doing the best I can by that batch of fish.
And then it's caviar for a few weeks for family then, yeah?
To be honest, we let them naturally carry on spawning in those ponds, and the amount of fry, obviously we go through and clean them out, but obviously if we leave a batch, when there's that many eggs in there, the water quality goes crap. The hatch rate's normally really bad. It's just a waste of time. So we're just better off, I'll say, taking what we want, let them do their business, literally take the ropes out, whatever, when they're done, or let them hatch, take the ropes out, get rid of them. And it's
let them go through the cycle of what they want to do.
Yeah.
So if you're allowed to say, what's the big project spawns you're going for next season? Is there any specific types that you're going to say, we're going to focus on here? Suris.
It's always the same. We always have to focus on what we can't
sells.
do everything every year. So obviously this year we've had an amazing year with the Asagi, the Ginrin Shisui, the Aragoki, Krashigoi, Ginrin Krashigoi. There's certain varieties we've got shed loads of. We didn't do much in the way of Kahaku, Sanki, Goshki. So they'll be next year's first ones we do. That'll be where we'll go. We'll do the Kahaku, Sanki, Goshki, Hiyatsuri, whatever we haven't got a lot of to cover across the board.
What you've already got coming on.
Yeah, so there's the beauty of when you do have a good year with some varieties is we don't need to spawn them next year. So we won't do any Asagi, Shisui, Krashigoi. There's just no point. We're overrun with them. So we can naturally, we'll have different sizes. So some will grow on, some will hold back. And then in the shop, sometimes we'll have a pond where you've got big 1-year-old fish and small 2-year-old fish, all the same size, go together. So you get a full mix or whatever's available. So it's, so
I was asking How many staff does Rick have? Sorry, just because I don't want to miss
I
the
haven't got any
question.
staff. I am staff.
He's staff. There's
three of us. Through the winter, there's 3 of us full time. Through the summer, there's normally 5 of us, give or take.
So, and then the 2 musketeers.
And the two yeah. But yeah, it's one of those. The more staff you got, the more we could produce, the better it'd be. The downside.
The more layout you've got though as well, mate, aren't you? Yeah.
There isn't the money coming in through the winter months. Running a shop full time is a pain. That is a problem because we've got to have 1 member of staff in the shop every day, and obviously so a full-time member of staff doesn't cover that. So that's really almost 2 members of staff just doing the shop because someone works. Then you get to someone else has got to do the other 2. Then
you get to this time of year where you've gone into by appointment only.
And that's when we freeze up. So, like tomorrow, there's 5 of us on tomorrow. So we can actually just shut the shop and 5 of us go and do work, which sounds crazy, but we can actually say, well, let's go and do that, cut those trees down, clear that, do that, whatever. You can have 1 on a digger, 1 on a chainsaw, 1 on, and suddenly you can do what seemed an impossible task done in a day because there's 5 of you can get loads done. But that's quite a rare beast because normally, we'd have, well, quite often it's just 1 of us running the farm. 1 person running the shop and the 3rd person is on their day off or whatever. But it's just, but
Lorraine's
it's my farm. Sean's the boss. It's his farm.
Yeah. Lorraine's asking, how do you count the eggs?
How do you count them? We don't.
Do you not do it by weight?
Yeah. Well, the way to do it is you weigh a gram, count a gram of eggs, and if there's 100 eggs per gram, and you've got to keep whatever. But the reality is every female has different sized eggs. So what could be 100,000 eggs per kilo from one fish might be 200,000 from another fish if the egg size is different. The reality is we don't care. It's one of those, it doesn't really matter. You just get a natural feeling for that's enough. That's 20,000 fish from that. That's enough from that, whatever. And that I suppose that when you strip them like we do, and you just know how many eggs you need. I can take out 150 grams of eggs in a bag. I go, well, I know that will do 50 grids, gives me 50,000 basically fish or whatever. I could split that between 2 ponds, do whatever. You sort of know your limits because you're doing it. Once they self spawn, I mean, they're just dumping. It's just a mess.
What is it that makes? Because I've noticed it. I've seen it on your videos, and I've seen it obviously when me and Daz have, and Vicky when we've done some spawning down. What is it that makes the eggs all different colours? Is that just down to food?
So yes, different varieties. A lot of it's to do with variety as much as individual fish. So platinum ogons quite often have really almost bright, almost green coloured eggs.
Yeah. I'm going to say the one white.
Brown eggs or orange eggs, and I think it's just it just comes from the.
I was just wondering if it were anything to do with whatever food they'd been ingesting or whatever they produced.
No, because ours are all fed across the board the same foods.
But different varieties produce different colours.
And that fish will have that colour eggs every time you do it. You get used to you just know that fish has that colour eggs, that fish has green eggs, that fish has orange eggs. It doesn't seem to make a difference in fertility or whatever. It's just
that's the reason why I asked is because Daz had got the one that we call Monster, but it's predominantly a plain big white fish. And it was when we first saw her eggs, the first time she spawned, it was like, shit, man, there's something not right there. Why are they like green, really green colour in eggs? Me and my Daz were like, well, there's no wonder they didn't hatch. Maybe it's just a colour. And then when she spawned the following year, but a proper spawning, and all their eggs were green. And then he had a lemon harawaki, which has pretty much gone completely white. It's what was straight platinum. That produced green eggs. But then we got a Shisui that did, like an orange colour. And I'm like, oh, Right. So maybe it's not, but we'd only ever seen sort of like clear looking eggs. Well, not translucent, but more opaque from everything else that we'd spawned in past before. They were like, there's something wrong with them.
The weird thing is they're different colours. So when you put them in a bag or when you strip them and you've got them condensed, they can go from almost red, brown, green, clear. But obviously once you fertilise them and they swell up and they go through their process, then all good. They all go clear. They all go transparent. They're almost invisible. Good ones have become glass balls almost. Whereas
and the other ones turn white then.
Yeah, but yeah, it must be just whatever inherent colour the female carries. It's one of them. Never really took much notice of it. The only time I worry about eggs if there's sometimes you'll strip a fish and there'll be a lot of white eggs, bad eggs already in the batch
coming out,
and it's like, tend not to hold great hope for that. But each female does different. We got one of our Sankies. She never ever she'll go through the process. The males won't touch her, and unless you check her, she'll ovulate, but she won't spawn, and the males won't touch her. So unless you check her and physically make sure that once the eggs start running, you can take her out, strip the eggs, they're fine. Once you've done that, they tend to then start spawning. But she just literally, no one's interested in her. So you put her in, she'll go through the process, and after 24, 48 hours, she'll ovulate. You take her out, and she'll be just releasing eggs. But the males are like, not touching you.
She's giving off bad vibes, then, isn't she? It's got to be.
But normally, if you'd expect those eggs to be bad, but as long as you catch it, the eggs are fine. Just whatever she also doesn't release the hormone that the males latch onto, because you get other fish that they just beat the living crap out of.
Yeah.
We do get favourites. If we can have 4 females in the same pond all spawning, and you quite often find particular males will gravitate to 1 or 2 particular fish.
So it's down to the perfume then, yeah?
Well, they have to release hormones to get that whole thing going on, don't they? So if that Sankey just doesn't release
the right
hormones or others aren't very attractive, I don't know. But we've had 8 years, I suppose, we spawned that fish maybe now. And
that's the big Sankey that you did last, didn't it, this year? Yeah,
the big Momentary one, and she did it again this year when Tony was there. I was giving up on it because no one was interested, and it was only because I took her up to have a look. It's like, oh,
and then they just started pouring out.
Odd.
There you go. Dino says it's charm. It's called Gaz, like my Scouse charm. That's what it is, Dino. And it's good to see you. Good to see you back, mate. He said, I'm still here. Just missed my pond so much, but I'm working on it little by little. That's it, mate. You got no to rush for, bud, have you? Get it and get yourself right with it and get yourself set up again. Go again, mate. Don't let it put you off, bud. That is for sure.
Yes.
So that's a good one to be my forever pond. We seem to have seen less, although there has been some, obviously, community members that have had a few issues with the bacterial issues this year. There seems to have been less than what there's been the year prior, don't there? So at least it seems to be less than. I'm not going to say it's a good thing because obviously there's still been people that's been affected by it, but at least there's been less than what we had in the past. Right then, mate.
Knowledge as well, though, isn't it? Where you
it is,
what you're doing with a fish. I mean, things still can go wrong, but generally those bacterial problems, you've got to put an infected fish in to have the problem.
And that's the thing, mate. There are a lot of people that put infected fish in the ponds, aren't there?
I know. I spoke to someone 2 days ago, and they brought a whole collection. They had a new pond, brought a whole collection of fish and the whole filter system and whatever, set it up. Fish all had little marks and bits on them, but they all were fine. They then brought a load of fish from dealers we know, put them in there, and within a matter of days, all the new fish, big holes in them from every dealer, whatever. And obviously the existing fish still had marks and wounds on them. And it's like, well, yeah. And it's just one of those horrible situations, isn't it? So someone's got a shot, a load of fish they shouldn't have got shot of, and some pool gets gone.
That's the thing, mate. That's the thing. You'd like to think that most people cut the losses and think, you know what, I'm not going to be that guy that sends his fish out there to cause problems for somebody else. But, you know.
Trouble is, you get that, you might find that that person had a problem 5 years ago, and those remaining fish have all lived happily enough. And he's like, well, I'm just giving up the hobby. You know, I'm going to sell the whole lot off. They're all right. And they probably would have been right until you put new ones with them, and then kaboom.
It's like that kid coming to school that's never had chicken pox. Everybody else has had it, but you can bring in chicken pox and everybody gets it all over again, don't they, kind of thing. So kind of brings us on to one of the topics that, and I know we have touched on this before in the past, and I know it's been something that's been spoken about numerous times. But again, Kathy's asked us if we could help and go through. Could we discuss setting up quarantine hospitals and growing tanks? I've been having issues in a pond. I'm in the process of doing this for a couple of my koi that aren't so good at the moment, including about the best heaters for hospital tanks. Thanks. I also asked her if she could do me a favor and if she could perhaps maybe share, because she's obviously saying that she'd got more than just, you know, a couple that she was having issues with, and asked if she could do us a favor and show what it was that she was struggling with, as well as, just going to bear with me 1 second while I bring up all the comments, and hopefully she did share a little video with us for the particular fish that is having some issues. And it's, I think it's a shooter, sorry, if memory serves. So I'll bring this up. We're not going to be able to see much, Rick, because it is a video, and obviously the fish is in the pond rather than being bowled up. But obviously, I think it's, if you see there, we've got a Suri there that's particularly heavy coated in mucus and a good pinking colour to the left hand and right hand side of the full flank of the fish. Yeah, she's tried a few salt baths.
Yeah, I mean, without doing a scrape, I mean,
well, we've got, you know, NH3 0, NH2 run out of NH3 test. KH is 6, pH is stable at 8. Did 2 salt baths last week on the Shuro and the Chag. That's developed a touch of tail rot too. Testing again on Thursday this week. So she has been proactive. She is trying to do something. But I mean, technically, you shouldn't have 0. Oh, thanks, Kaz. Cassie's there, says, thanks, Kaz. That's me with the issue. I mean, technically, you're not going to have a 0 on your NH2, NO2 and NH3. You shouldn't have.
Yeah, but to be fair, you look at that pond and the bulk of the fish look fine. So you immediately, it's not, chances are it's not so much a water problem.
Parasite.
That fish looks absolutely battered. So you want to be doing a scrape on it. You might find that fish's immune system was not very good. So it could be a bacterial problem that the other fish are all quite happy with. It's not. I know a lot of people hear the word bacteria and crap themselves, but there's hundreds of types, thousands of types.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the bad.
It's not. That's not. That's got seriously coated with. Yeah, I mean, it could be that fish. Just in particular, that fish has just got a crap immune system. It's in a bad way. But yeah, certainly do a skin scrape. It might be absolutely humming with flukes. It looks like it could have all sorts going on in that mucus. As to a hospital tank, it's got to be a big enough and good enough environment for the fish to live in semi-permanently. So you need something minimum sort of 6 foot square, really, that's to take decent sized fish. So if you scraped it and you can't find anything, then obviously it's not a parasite issue. So you then come down to getting that fish out and putting it through, keeping it in a strong salt solution at 0.6 or whatever. If you can change the temperature, but yeah, that fish might just be on its way out. Yeah, the time to worry is if a second fish shows the same symptoms and you're like, okay, it's not that fish, it's something else going on. But yeah, it's difficult. I mean, if we had a fish that, we'd definitely isolate it, and yeah, try and do something to change.
So it's always been sensitive, apparently.
Yeah, well, if it's a fish you've had a long time, but shearers can be quite sensitive to stuff, so they'll blush up and mucus up. It's just shearer show. You quite often have a fish in a pond that the first sign of trouble, that one fish goes horrible. Evening, Crafty, right?
Good evening. How's it going, Jen?
Very good, very good. But yeah, I mean, hospital tank. We have quite a lot of people that go, "Oh yeah, I've taken my sick fish out and I've got it in a hospital tank," and you find out that it's a 3-foot long tub with an air stone. That fish is
in an hospital tank at all. It's more of a it's more stressful for the fish being in that type of environment.
Yeah, it needs to be a second pond that is running, filtered, and running to a level that those fish, multiple fish can live in. Yeah, happily, long term, realistically, and I know that's where a lot of people can't. It's bad enough running one pond to have a second pond that's nearly as big. It costs money, but that's.
I mean, most people ask, right, as you've said there, Rick, in the initial question is to hospital / quarantine / grow on tanks. Pretty much that exactly what you need in a smaller version as what you've already got for your pond out there. They require filtration.
Yeah, and a lot of people use a lot of people use IBC container, a meter cube, but that's right for little fish. But you can't go dropping an 18-inch fish into a meter cube tank and expect it to be happy. It's just the stress of being in there, even if you've kept the water mint, the chances are something that small is the fish is just going to jump out, beat itself to pieces, or get so stressed, and whatever's going wrong is going to go wrong even faster. So it is one of those difficult.
Heat would help the fish. She just said there. So would you have it heated?
If you've got a situation where you could heat it, then you need to change the environment. So if you've got it in a tank with other fish, the water's good, that one fish is struggling, so you need to put it somewhere where you can, not say, take the temperature to a threshold that's different, have the salt level higher that you might not want to have your whole pond at, but that you can keep that one fish in. And then you obviously in an environment like you can then use, whether it's potassium, whatever you've got, you can use different treatments without having to treat the whole pond or whatever. But the fact that one fish looks that bad and all the other fish look all right suggests that there's something going on with that one fish, and you might just be struggling. Whatever you do, you might not win.
Cassie was saying there that she's done scrapes and tests. What magnification was you looking for on your scrapes and tests? Because I mean, obviously you can see flukes at 300 times mag, but you're not necessarily going to see Costa
100 times, Cass.
100 times, sorry, yeah, but you see
300
times for Trick and Costa in it.
I think Costa is the only thing you might miss. Most people, anything else is so white spot, Trick, chili. They're all so big. When you start using a microscope, they're pretty damn obvious. The Costa is perhaps the one parasite that is a little bit more tricky to spot. But once you learn the magnification, it's normally a fish like that. If it's got Costa, it will be buzzing.
Is it flicking and flashing a lot?
Is it eating?
And is it eating okay? See, this is the thing, Craft. When I was saying to you, I had 2 fish in my pond. 2 of my fish, my Matsukawabake and my Kumonru were both proper looking grey. They were really heavy mucus, but not flashing so much. Not hardly at all. But then I got 2 or 3 others that were flashing like, quite regular. And I was thinking, shit. And as I said in the videos that I was doing, for the last couple that I've done, was, a little bits of tips and info what I do for my pond, which is not necessarily a how-to or you should be doing. It's just what I've done and what I do with my pond ready for winter. And knowing full well, I mean, you can say, Anthony, you knew and I knew I was getting some fish from you. So I'd got some fish from Rick. Now, it seems crazy to me I knew I'd got, prior to getting the ones from Rick, that I'd got flukes. So I had tested, done scrapes, I'd got flukes in the pond. I'd never managed to get rid of them completely last time. Probably not the numbers back to a point where it weren't really bothering everything. I got some fish from Rick, and I knew that shortly after that I was going to be getting fish from Perfect Aquatics. So it didn't seem to me like a sensible thing to do, to go in there and whack him in with a treatment and then introduce new fish. Likelihood is I could have brought, I'm not saying I would, guys, and I'm not saying it did. I'm just saying likelihood is I could have brought parasites back in again after I just put them through a treatment within a fortnight right after. And that puts them back into that situation where I'm going to have to treat them again. Long-term treating fish a lot and regular is not a good thing. Regardless of whatever the treatment is, it's not something you really want to be doing a fortnightly thing, is it? You want to be giving your fish a break and hoping that they're getting over the last treatment that you've had rather than going, shit, you know what? I've put new fish in again. I've got something else again. Let's hit them again. So I waited. And in waiting, it showed that, one, I tried to treat less. Two, I put the fish through less stress by treating them more regular. Three, the signs of the parasites were showing themselves and I already knew they were there. So when it got to a point where, I might see the odd fish flash once or twice if we're out all afternoon with fish, to the point when I walk out and I think, right, I'm just going to cut lawn, and then I see 6 or 7 fish flash 4 or 5 times in a row, and you think, shit, right, now it's time I could do some treatment. So I went in with my choice personally, to go in with a PP treatment. But the main reason why I did Crafty was, and Rick, was the 2 fish, one that got the heavy mucus, and 2, the new Tancho Sanke that I got from your mate. It went real pink, and I thought, there's something not right with that. That one's flashing bad. Now, prior to a couple of days, it had been in for about a week and a half or so. Right after that, they got a good drop of temperature up here, and they all went packed up. They're all nice and close to each other. And then 2 days after that drop in cold temperature, that fish, the Tancho Sanke, started skimming off of everything. And I thought, oh, have you been packed up at the side of those fish that I've seen already flashing, and have now you got parasites after being introduced into a new pond? You're already stressed, immune system's down a little bit, one stress factor after another. So I thought, right, let's go in and hit them with a PP treatment.
Also went from the show, didn't it?
It did, mate, yeah.
So there's a major stress level for that.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So I hit it with the PP treatment, mate. And after day 2, there was an improvement. And I thought, sweet, that's good. It's come down a little bit. So I did what you said first time. You go in with a get rid of your organic load job, hit them again, bang, straight in with it. Another one 3 days later. Good filter clean, everything else. I managed to keep the water purple for 5 hours. And I thought, cracked it this time. Ain't not going to manage to get through that. Day 2, day 3, day 4, completely gone. All red, all pinkness. Not a single fish, not seen a single fish flash at all since. Thought, sweet, we've nailed it. Now, would that be a good way or a good idea for perhaps somebody that's got an issue like that to do a one-off hit treatment and say, let's see if a PP treatment throughout the pond, or well, she's saying she's finding nothing when she's doing scrapes. But if you're missing Costia, if you're hitting with a PP treatment, would that be a good idea or advisable to try to do like a blanket bump and at least see if there was improvements after 2 or 3 days, or go with the hospital tank treatment thing or quarantine tank treatment thing and separate that fish out?
If you haven't got that facility to separate out and that fish, then yeah, I would go in with maybe not PP because it's that's what I was saying. I did for my particular malachite formalin. That's quite a broad range, and it's malachite's antibacterial as well. You might find you put a dose of malachite formalin for it, and that fish chirps up no end. Yeah. And you go, well, that was all right. You might have no effect, but you got to see, like say, sometimes you can't move that fish. If you just leave it, the chances are that's going to just end up dying. And if it is
worse and worse and worse,
it's going to cause problems to the other fish. So, yes, it might well be worth putting a dose of something through. What you put through.
See, that's the thing.
So malachite is the treatment, one of the better treatments for fin rot anyway. So you might find that a malachite formalin treatment covers both issues in one hit. Both issues could be the same issue, just manifesting differently on different fish.
Yeah. Because everybody always says that we shouldn't treat blind. But if you've got something wrong and you don't have a secondary facility, I guess at some point you've got to try something or run the risk of losing that one particular fish. And if you've only got that environment of water to treat within, you kind of have to treat blind, don't you?
Potentially, yeah. It's just a way of ruling things out, which is obviously when we talk to people on the phone, sometimes you have to do that. They've just got a pond. They've got nothing else to do. The fish are unhappy. They're saying the water's testing out all right. Then you think, well, what's the easiest way of going forward? So something like, a decent dose of malachite formalin will take out a lot of different issues. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You might then think, well, maybe we've got to try a fluke treatment. If they can't scrape the fish, and there is people out there, they haven't got microscopes, they haven't got hospital ponds, you can only go by what symptoms they're telling you, what's going on with the fish. Then, yeah, sometimes you do have to do that. It's not ideal, but we don't live in an ideal world, do we?
No, that's what I mean. That's why we're hoping that perhaps maybe we could have shed the best light on what would be to do without having. I mean, she said there that she's ordered a tank which is coming tomorrow, which is 550 litres.
It's not, but 100 gallon. Yeah, chance that it would be okay for smaller fish for using for a little grow on, or quarantine the smaller fish. But that shearer looked quite large, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
and that's one video.
Yeah, I'll put it back on again.
I missed it.
Just one.
40 cm. It's quite a big fish, isn't it? How old is it, Cassie?
I'll put a picture back up as well so you can see it, mate. I'm just gonna bang this up there. Hopefully it works.
I did see the post, but I didn't purposely look at anything because I knew it was going to be on here. So it's on this side. Let
me find the video again. I've just put something in there as well, guys. Top of the comments, you'll see there is a new goal in. It's a new thing that YouTube's brought out where they're allowing, obviously, YouTubers to make use of the super chats and blah, 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 blah. What I've put in now is a chance and an opportunity for if anybody wants us to see us doing it. If we manage to meet oh my, I just paused it up anyway. Hang about 1 second. I shall show this video again, and then Crafty can see it, and then we can just quickly allow him to have a quick nosy at this. Right. As you see it swimming past there, mate.
Yeah, I mean, the mucus on it is mucus right the way through, and it's
full rain from
the other fish look good, don't they?
Yeah, everything else looks bob on. There's no heavy mucus on anything else, is there? I mean, look at the kahaku there. It's bright as a button. Against those, the other one there.
Very, very blushy skin as well. There's not a bacterial issue in there whatsoever. Not one that you would be thinking.
No, that's what I mean. It's one of those, that fish is just, struggling with something, isn't it? On its own. But, yeah, I mean, something like Costia, it does happen. So if all the other fish in there have seen Costia, quite often you have them, they're fine. And that one fish may never have seen it before or something, and it could be absolutely swarming with it.
I mean, the fish were also moving very well as well, which would indicate you got a good temperature. When did you take that video?
That was not yesterday, the day before, I think. So what we're on Thursday, Wednesday, either Tuesday or Wednesday. I think she posted it. I'll tell you.
It's a tough one. I mean, looking at that, I'd be inclined to go and put a high dose of salt into and give it a good salt bath.
She's given it 2 salt baths, apparently. Did I hear that?
Yeah, tried 2 salt baths.
What a salt bath is and what a salt bath really is are 2 different things, aren't they?
Yeah, if you do a Rick salt bath, goddamn, fish comes out looking like that. Never mind. My maths of cow banky come out grey. But
yeah, it doesn't make the mucus go. It makes the mucus sort of turn white and slough off sometimes if they're bad. But yeah, that's.
Have you salt dipped to a point where the fish is a little bit drunk? It's like I'd go for quite a high salt dip, probably no more than, I don't know if I should say it.
When you put the fish in, it bobs up. It's so salty, and you have to hold it underwater. You know it's salty enough.
I'm not going to say it online through people that watch. So
there's loads of forums out there must give you the dose for a salt bath.
0.6 is a high dose, but not high enough.
It's a fish as well.
You could go a little bit higher as long as you stay on it. And you really do need to salt it up more than a 0.6. Give it. I'll say it, but it's a risk. All right, you got to go to a 0.9 in the solution in a small tub and keep it in there for 10 minutes. All right, make sure you're watching it. You may find that your fish goes quite white and you see the skin or the mucus start, like what Rick said, stripping away. Do that, reintroduce it into your pond and then monitor. But what I would like you to do beforehand is check its gills and that to see if there's anything underlying with regards to the gills browning off. So Lee's in the house.
Easily.
Give that a go, Cassie, and see how you get on. That's the way I'd go, because it's clearly nothing to do with your pond or the other fish, just looking at how your other fish.
Well, everything else in there looks ticky to boo, doesn't it? That's what threw me with mine. I'd only got a few of them, but I just thought, you know what, I'm not dicking about with it. Go straight in with it.
The problem is when you watch that fish swimming, it's already losing. It's not swimming in a normal fashion. The peck shapes have changed and it's wobbling. And there's a good chance that even in a strong salt bath, it might just roll it.
Turn it over, yeah. You know, be prepared. So you've got to watch it. You know.
Someone said, "What's the safe salt?" 0.6.
Yes. What is it?
That's the same.
Safe salt level to leave in long term?
0.6%. That's 6 kilograms of salt for every 1,000 liters of water. That is the same salinity the fish are. That's why you use it. It's not. It doesn't kill things. It just helps the fish.
Yeah. With the osmosis.
Would there be a reason to be putting in long term?
Well, ask the Jap farmers why they pour all in.
Well, the Jap farmers tip it in, don't they? Just by the truckload. Put tons in.
You shouldn't, in a normal pond, you shouldn't need to. But obviously, if you've got a load of toes going through their first cold spell or whatever, we've got sleeping, it's got its place. But you shouldn't need to leave it in your pond long term. Otherwise, something. Yeah, why? I don't.
Would it make a difference with that lady's fish? Because that here at Suri, Shuru at Suri is Deutscher as well.
They can be more susceptible to stuff like that. Obviously, the scales are part of their protection. So a Deutsch fish is more susceptible to white spot, certain parasites than a Wagoi fish, because the scale is it's like the mucus, the scale, the skin, they're all part and parcel of the fish's strength. That's why they are. So a Deutsch fish has got one less layer of defense.
Susan's asked there 0.60%. No, 0.6%. 0.60%, it'd be like the Dead Sea, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no. So 0.06%, which is, if you work out, as 6 kilograms of salt for every 1,000 liters of water.
So 0.3 and 0.6 on your salt meter, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, the trouble is, my salt meters will have 2 different readings as well. A lot of them.
That's what I get on my readings. What I use.
Yeah. So that's 0.6, which is not 6%. It's 0.6%.
Yeah. You know, it's we tend to use in the shop. We tend to use any fish that has gone through a medication. We have the facility to heat up and salt. You know, it's the best way of helping your fish survive, and get through things quicker. To be perfectly honest.
Does Costia attack the weakest fish in a pond?
Any parasite. The weakest ones are the ones that the immune system's not working so well. So the Costia don't hunt the weakest fish. The weakest fish doesn't get rid of the disease as quick.
Yeah.
So it builds up on that fish, and that fish then becomes your little breeding ground.
That's your canary fish, so to speak.
Yeah. But that's like my Matsukawabaki now. That is, remember before, Rick, when I was saying to you, I always had that fish, the other fish, which was the Yamabuki, that one that flipped out, man. I went nuts. That thing, yeah. That the only time I swear to God, man, the only time that fish was happy was when chemicals were in pond. That's the only time it acted normal. The second there were no in there, and they were back to normal, filter clean and what have you. It weren't happy fish at all, and it were always the problematic fish constantly. That fish gone. And then it nailed the Matsukawabaki in the process of it going. Now it seems that the Matsukawabaki fish is my problematic fish because the Yamabuki slammed into the side of it, and I mean full on pelt. Even to imagine an in-ground pond, hearing a fish swimming from one side to other, and literally hearing a thud noise when it whacked into the side of the pond, and it belted into Matsukawabaki in the process of doing it, and it's always had a problem with maintaining its buoyancy ever since. It's never been able to, it comes up to the surface to feed. It's to keep powering its tail to stay up there, or otherwise it just and it sinks. So when it stops, it can swim around pond with the rest of them pretty well, but it seems to go down to bottom and stay on bottom a lot. And I don't know if that's picking up more issues because it's down there constantly all the time or what, but it seems to be the problematic fish in the pond now. But whenever that was
basically its swim bladder's shot, is what you're saying. Yeah. So and obviously if it's swim bladder, it's got to use more energy to just be
a fish. Yeah.
So
making it a weaker fish, being the problem fish.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's not mine though, so I can't do it with it. It's Brandon's. Crafty, have you tried the new Detox yet?
We have actually, yeah. Where's that come from? The Koi channel.
The Koi channel. Frank.
Yeah, we have. We've actually used it. It's a good link actually. So part of our preparation for our Nisai shipment tomorrow, on all of the ponds that have now been jet washed out, refilled, and detoxed, I can honestly say, wow, it's done.
Are you flying up?
Job.
Are you flying up here to pick me up then, ready for collection?
Well, you can come down tomorrow if you want to.
You can fly down.
You'll be with us around midday.
But you might have just got helicopter out like and just pick me up and then straight down the airport, pick fish up, parachute them all into Perfect Aquatics car park.
Yeah, it's in bits, so it's delivered today. So we've got to put it together. So let me just find a picture of this stuff because I want to plug it for Frank. So Frank's got a new product that he's managed to roll out, and we've been selected to sell on his behalf. So let me just find this picture I've got.
Sweet. Is that the Detox?
Yeah. So Aqua Utopia is what it's called.
So what's you've used the Detox in brand new empty ponds basically. So
we have, mate. You can see. I'll show you what it can do in a minute. Just bear with me.
It's all right, Mr. I was going to pick me up.
We've also used it in ponds that we've got fish in. Let me just send this over. Can't do lots of things at once. I'm old.
Lee says, Rick, can I come down for a carp session?
You can, mate. It's not fishing well at the minute. Just wait for the weather to turn cold and it'll fish better. Just let me know. be fair, we just dumped 1 million gallons of muddy water in there from one of the other ponds. So.
That'll do you well.
Oh, there we go. Well, let's put that up on the old sharing. Can we get that bigger? No, bollocks. Complete pond detox ensures crystal clear, toxin-free water, promoting vibrant fish health and balanced ecosystem. Removes harmful pollutants, boosts fish health, and improves water clarity. Sizes available in 1 kg treats, 100,000 litres, 2 kg, 200,000 litres. Aqua Utopia, advanced koi keeping. Sweet.
Yeah, so basically with clean water, with old filters that get clean through, we have had slight chlorine showing in the water because we do a pre-filter clean, and I can honestly tell you that it has removed what's been in there. And what we have found is that from when we've put it into ponds with fish, that the fluctuation that occurs with it is fucking immense. The amount of crap that it gathers from the water is really, really good.
What about temps? What temperatures can it be used at, Frank?
All temperatures.
All temps.
Yeah, it's an additive that's worth putting in. Full stop. Really, it improves fish health, improves water clarity. Obviously, if you're starting to fluctuate the water and start to pull all the small microbes that are inside that down and through your filtration system, it's definitely going to clear everything up. But the main thing is with the metals, we get quite a lot of copper in our water, and already the clarity that we're seeing from it is really good. And I even looked into a pond today, and I was like, fuck me, have we cleaned these out? It was like, yeah, this is. I said, well, we need to give them another bloody good clean, because that detox that we've put in has done such a good job. You can see the amount that it's pulled down onto the bottom of the pond. It's just fucking really good, man. I've been really impressed with it. So,
how much is it for a 1 kg and a 2 kg tub of it?
I think off the top of my head, $34.99 is what we're charging for a small one, and 60 quid for a big one. I think.
That'll last me a lifetime. That for about 2 kg.
That's what I mean. It will. And I know, speaking to Frank, we've been talking for some time about this. This has been put together and tested and changed and tested and changed and tested for quite a hefty period of time before Frank has gone, right, yeah, this is now doing what it says on the tin. And there's only one other product that's available. I'm not going to plug it because I'm putting my name behind this one. And that other one is more expensive, and I don't personally think it does a better job than this one. So, yeah, if you want it, it's available at our store, guys.
Is it enzyme based, bacteria based? What is it?
I don't know off the top of my head, Rick, without looking, but I will find out the answers for you. And if Frank's still listening, maybe he'll be able to tell you.
Frank, click the link, man. Come in and have a talk about it. Come in and
join us, dude. Plug it, dude.
Come and plug your product, man.
And I'll tell you what, the packaging is banging. It is just no gimmicks. It's on the button. There it is. No big pictures of fluffy red, black and white koi and, fancy packaging. It's very plain, straight to the point. And for me, I think that's what makes it actually really stand out. It's not trying to sell you something it's not. Like you get a lot of these other brands that do.
Even Alan. Thank you, Alan, for doing that stuff for me, mate. Again.
1 kg is $34.99 and the 2 kg is $54.99. Thank you very much, bud. What's its basis then? As Rick said there, is it,
I need about 2.5 ton.
Speak to me, mate. We'll work something out, Rick.
Send you 6-ton bags of it. Simple packaging.
Yeah, no, always worth a look at stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it does the job, mate, then yeah.
It does what it says on the tin. It's bloody good, isn't it?
Well, we've seen results, you know.
Yeah, some stuff that will flop.
I would have read out the other little bits.
Too hard to read, mate, isn't it?
They're a bit blurry to be.
I've got to put a little bit together anyway as part of marketing campaign. It's been a little bit hectic at work this week. I'm not going to it, but yeah, we will get round to it. I'm looking forward to selling it this year, mate. To be perfectly honest, it's something I'm quite excited for. Getting my regulars to try out and feedback on. So I want this to work for Frank as much as us.
That's what you need, and it needs, like I say, 2 identical ponds where you can trial it against each other. Who's got them? I don't know.
You know,
who knows?
Well, it's dead weird because even in our shop, Rick, two small ponds next door to each other just operate so differently. It fucking blows my mind, man. Sometimes. But what's Gaz up to anyway? He's got a smirk on his face.
He's still trying to talk a load of crud about some YouTube thing.
Oh. I've put a thing up here in the top of the chat, and it's got a little thing with a target, and it's the super chats. If we actually manage to do it, then it's 50 super chats, and if we do the 50 super chats, or we manage to hit that target, and we get that as completed, then, well, unfortunately, guys, this is springing upon you, but you will be taking part in a 24-hour live stream. If we manage to hit the target, I want to see if we can then organise and get this. I'll keep putting it in, week out, and if we finally manage to hit the target and we get this, but the super chats is a way of being able to log it and record it to see if we actually hit it. If we hit it, then we do a 24-hour live stream, which my idea is if we do a live stream, then we're going to do a 24-hour live stream, lads. We're going to be able to have a beer. We're going to be able to sit here and have a laugh and have a giggle. But it's not just going to be 24/7.
We're going to do a line of Coke.
Yeah, your physical Coca-Cola, whatever you want, mate. It's not a problem. If you want to snort, liquid up your nose, all good. But if we, kind of do a thing. But I thought if we could perhaps maybe to work it out, but we could perhaps maybe do an online auction and do an online auction from Perfect Aquatics, an online auction from New Forest Koi, and if we can get Ryan involved and just get a full 24-hour period of us all being in event and all doing something throughout the evening and pushing it through a 24-hour period. I thought about perhaps maybe at the end of that, then also doing it with, if anybody would like to make a donation, we'll set up a GoFundMe page, and anything and funds that are raised on the evening will go to a charity. And we bang that out as a charity event, 24-hour stint, live stream from. You can handle 24 hours. You just got to pace yourself, Rick.
It takes me 23 hours to switch the bloody computer off.
I just thought it might be a little bit.
We can do a chili eating challenge.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about doing a 24. Well, anybody doing any hot chilies in it because
I think
6 hours in, you might spend the rest of the live on the shitter. So it ain't going to be all that entertaining, is it? Could be a 24-hour shit event.
Yeah, we do bid in 1p increments. That'll take a while, won't it?
Exactly. See, I mean, that's it. Just do one auction, and that's it. There we go. We got another one there from Lebo. Thank you very much, mate, for another super chat. But obviously, we need to hit the target to be able to make it as a case. So there is
what we got watching. What
you have to do is you have to click on the bit where it says target at the top, Lebo. So thanks very much for that.
So 148 of us watching, guys. I'm certain that we can hit 50. That's 33% of the channel.
Do you have to pay money to be a super?
Yeah, I mean,
unfortunately, you do, mate. There's no way me being able to do it, but it's apparently the super chat things is a way of making your audience engage and audience engaging with it. And I will be honest. It's a case of right. Let me be
There will be, right. So I'll throw some cards. There'll be stuff available on the 24-hour.
Exactly.
From you've had heads up on this,
that we can throw in as freebies and do spins and stuff like that.
Do some giveaways and stuff. Some GKP
merch from 50 people, right? Let's get it in there and show some appreciation for the amount of time that goes into putting these things together and our time for sitting here and talking shit for 4 or 5 hours a week as well. And if we was James the Coy Whisperer, right, I'll say it.
Already, wouldn't it?
Yeah, mate, we'll be smashing it out the window.
We'll be thanking his mother for the rabbits and all sorts of shit.
Yeah, and that. So let's get it going. Here we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
If anybody is interested in, obviously we've got to hit that target. But I mean,
anyone want to watch us for 24 hours?
Because, mate,
it don't matter.
I reckon we'd smash it. I reckon we'd keep people here. We may not have a bigger audience as what we've got right now, but if it were for a charity event, if everybody were having a couple of drinks and being here, and having a whatever, I think it'd be a good thing. I think it'd be a good laugh.
Yeah,
quite appreciation.
We get some guest speakers on, and
Koi appreciation could take some time. That'd drag it out, wouldn't it? But that'd just get rid of everybody if we did that.
Yeah, we can make it fun. I'll definitely do an auction as well.
Yeah.
I'll put some freebies in for people to win as well. Yeah.
What's that? Lee saying he'll do 6 p.m. till 11 p.m. on a Saturday night. Well, that's what we're thinking. That's what we're thinking, Lee. Doing it on a Saturday night. That way, then, if we start on a Saturday night and we finish on a Sunday, I don't know. Let's finish on a Sunday. Start at 6, finish at 6 Sunday. Then it's not eating into anybody's. Look at Rick's already looking worried, isn't he? It's not. I'm not saying, Rick, you would need to be here for 24 hours. The only person that needs to be here for 24 hours really is me. But having different guests to come on and join us throughout it, I'm hoping that we can get, perhaps maybe pull a little bit, make a little bit of something for charity, and bang that out to some out there as well. I'm sure. Obviously, I'd like to do something towards Alzheimer's. Completely honest. It's affected people in my family. It's affected my friends and their family. I'd like to do something if we could raise a little bit towards Alzheimer's charity and give a little bit back to all those people that really do need your help. So,
well, I'll have a look and see if we can get a fish up for raffle as well.
Yeah, sweet.
All right, mate. Everything helps.
So we're flipping heck. I'm missing all these. We've got another one there from Jeff Lees. Thank you very much, Jeff. Mental Koi Pond says, there we go, another 2. So, I mean, there we go.
Thank you very much, everyone. That's really appreciated.
I appreciate it, guys. I know it sounds silly, but it's a way that I can get people to engage. It's a way that we can get it hopefully done. And if we manage to hit that target of 50 by the end of the live, then we set a date and we get it done and we get something put together with some giveaways, some prize draws, everything all out there for everybody to have a go at and getting a little bit of something back out of it as well. And then anything that we can put through to a charity at the end of it, which I think would be fantastic.
I think you need to get a guest from India, get Sid on, because it's different time. One from America.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
And different time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do it inviting as many people from, and Mr. Tate just said, what the chuffing hell, man?
Mr. Tate.
What flipping heck, man? Look at that, Lee smashed it with a $49.99.
Do you have to get all 50 tonight, or could it build up?
Well, I mean, yeah. If we hit it tonight, then we get there and we get oh my God. We get a £2 there from Dave, and we've got another £2 there from Bubble and Fins. And Lee says we are in. Thank you very much, Lee. The super chat thing is it's a new thing that they're trying to push on YouTube, and everybody getting people involved. And it said at the bottom, what do you want to do to celebrate it? So I thought if we can hit it and we hit that target, a good way to celebrate it is to put everything back. And then
Lee, you can be fishing on this 24-hour one. We'll do it from the lake, mate. It'd be a lot easier.
Exactly.
Go fishing.
Just go fishing that's the thing, mate. We could do it like that. Do a 24-hour live from something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be here or in the house. Oh, God damn, they're coming in fast now. Sorry, it's only £2, mate. It doesn't matter. The amount doesn't matter. It's not. That is flipping wow. But that's not that's why I put it in as the minimal amount, so that if we hit it, we hit that and we get there up again. And if we get people
the charity money already.
Well, what I thought we could, if anything, it would, depending on what we needed to do, this could go towards the process of setting up whatever we were doing. If we had some challenges, buying some merch or whatever, it could all go towards it. So I think it would be great from New Forest Koi. I think that'd be a wicked idea, mate.
Yeah,
I'm not even taking part.
But then disco, busk, and barbecue, an auction, and chili eating contest. Oh my God!
We can, even some of you guys that watched us popping in for 10 minutes, so we can all get to see what you look like as well. Rather than
audience participation. Anybody can come on and just jump in, even if you just come on for 5-10 minutes. Say hello, say a little about yourself, showcase your own pond, talk about your own channel. If you've got a small channel and you want to plug yourself. Anybody can come on and be a part of it. So that's the idea.
Challenge, you see. Everyone will put on some waders and get across an empty mud pond.
Alan Tate said that he'd also take part.
Thank you very much, Alan. Did I miss that one?
We've got facility to do koi appreciation, judging contests.
Yeah.
That sort of thing as well.
I just think it'd be a good idea, be a good laugh, good bit of crack, and we could raise a little bit for charity.
We're doing it over Christmas.
We could do it. Oh my God! There again, another one. The Koi channel.
Frank.
999. Thank you very much, Frank. You're a star, mate.
Right, you're still a cock for having that fucking the Koi channel.
I can't believe you. The thing. No, seriously though, mate. How did nobody have that before him? How was that not a thing? The Koi channel, such a simple but perfect name, mate.
The yin and yang fish.
24-hour weed clearing at New Forest Koi. There we go. I can get a project done.
Christmas.
What date are we thinking? You put it to.
We're in the making, aren't we? We're
definitely in the making.
There's got to be some planning involved with it. Let's see who we can get on, who's available, when, what time zones they're in, etc. If we can get anyone from Japan, that would be great as well.
The thing is, with the super chats, there's a percentage of that super chat doesn't come to me; it goes straight to YouTube. So whatever is in the kitty when we've done it and we finish, then hopefully we can either use that for setting up whatever we're doing in case we wanted to buy some items or whatever. Put that through to some of the giveaways and the rest of it. So don't rush. Let's make it this amazing. Exactly, mate. That's what I want to do. I want to make it because nobody else has ever done it before. Nobody else has done in the Koi community, that is. Nobody else has done a 24-hour event where I think we could get a lot of the community involved in it. And I think it'd be a good idea.
I think Lee's volunteering to drive to everyone's house on the 24 hours and go from house to house round.
Yeah, do pond visits with Mr. Hadfield. 24 ponds in 24 hours.
Could have challenge Annika.
Challenge Annika. Challenge Lee. Keep his trousers on.
You take the 30%, Vince, but we should still be able to get a reasonably Lee just made sure that there's a reasonable lump of change in there that we can bang through to some merch or some whatever, get some stuff out there for some people to win on the evening.
Yeah.
The reason why I thought about this is because I was asked, are we going to do are we going to redo the calendars this year?
What? The calendars.
I'm not saying it, but that could go towards it. We could fund towards it.
I could have. We auctioned.
I was asked if we were going to redo them again, but I was going to have a chat. It's kind of like put you on the spot now, but
Tony's been on July, whenever he is, for the whole year. He's had one month up for the whole year. Yeah.
I don't know what we got. 12 donations so far. £2.
12 out of 50.
That'd be great.
Is that like the minimum amount you can do?
Yeah,
$1.99 is the minimum amount, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, just make it a minimum amount, whatever. As we hit it, When we get there, we do it. But
I'm going to try and do it live on TV. Right. Where do I go?
Well, you have to go to the channel. You have to go to the YouTube channel. Andy Lewis has put one in. Ian's put one in. Thank you very much.
Go to the YouTube channel. What am I on? Is it not on the chat?
It's in the chat of. It's at the top of the chat of the normal one.
Right, hang on. I can do this.
Oh, can't leave the StreamYard, but you can find it. Can you bring up a secondary tab? That confused you, didn't it?
I can't do it on StreamYard. Oh,
bring it up on your phone.
There you go. Do it on
just on mine, mate.
Do it on your phone, and at the top where the comments is a little thing that says
little target board. Just hit
that,
and then it's simple.
I'm not subscribed to you though, Gaz. I'll have to find
the truth shall set you free. Thank you very much, Gazza.
Oh, here we are. Hang on. What's that all about? Oh, that little target thing.
Yeah, the little target thing. There's 15 out of 50 so far. But
the goal ends in 2.5 hours. What's that all about?
Well, you've got 3 hours to be able to do it in. So what we're going to do is try and get to the hour mark and then set it off going. And I kind of forgot because we got lost in talking and calling. You should do a nude calendar holding a different coin in front of you, jiggly berries each month. Tony Barker again. Thank you very much, Tony. It was Tony that asked me about the calendar as well. I just reminded me. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it. Bruskoya Pond, another $1.99. If we hit it, we do it, and we make it a massive event. Oh, Rick said, on your bike. I'm not being part of it. There you go. You Forest Koi. You had to subscribe to do that, didn't you?
I've unsubscribed again. It's all right. Right, look at that. I'm good at this, aren't I?
So your fish is arriving tomorrow, Rick?
My fish is arriving.
Thank you very much, guys. You're a star. All of you.
Oh, yes. That,
yeah. The Kobayashi Aragoki.
Dave State. Thank you very much, Dave.
Are you looking after Miyazaki for me?
Which one?
The golden corn. Taniguchi golden corn. No.
Did you buy that? Did you?
No, we didn't.
I don't.
Did you?
I'm gonna have to look into that. I think
you sold it.
Not to you though.
You did.
The artistic goalkeeper with a load of cricket bat, hockey stick. There should be a coffee bean 100 in there. Don't forget that one as well. Artistic goalkeeper, you're a star, mate. Thank you very much. And again, Paul Hutchinson, $1.99 again from you, mate. So let's see if we can put this to a good cause and have a good laugh.
So you got to reach the goal in 3 hours, otherwise you have to restart.
Yeah.
Now you've blown it.
Well, no, I haven't, because whatever comes through that from this, I will save, and then we can use that towards it, and I'll have to try and make the goal smaller.
Oh yeah, you did win it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
did I? All right.
Pool Pond UK says, "What's the goal for?" I've missed loads. What we're going to do, mate? What we're trying to see if we can get 50. If we can get 50 of the super chats, or whatever the class them as, super chats, I think 50 super chats. If we manage to hit the 50 super chats, after we've done that, we will then do a live 24-hour GKP Thursday Night Live, where it might be from down at New Forest Koi or wherever we finalize it to be. But what we're going to hopefully do is a 24-hour live with auctions involved, with items up for grabs. Basically just this for 24 hours of madness where there'll be merch and stuff up for grabs for people, and then we're going to set up a charity GoFundMe kind of thing to do and raise some money for Alzheimer's, so we can perhaps make a little bit of money and put it back through to them to help people like, Daz's father's been involved with it and he's gone through it. So it'd be nice to be able to do something to help a little bit for people that have been affected from your own family, through Daz's family, and all that kind of stuff, just to do a little bit of something back, to give a little bit of something back for a change, mate. Scrag's in there.
We're halfway there already.
Oh, 21 for 50 out of 50.
That's not halfway, is it? 20.
Well, it's just as good.
Now, as I've stated already, YouTube takes 30% of this, what you guys are putting in. The remainder of it, what comes through, I will then stick out there. Oh, my God, but the...
Thank you, guys. Let's do it. Come on.
We're getting there. 23 of 50. Make sure you press on that target at the top, not the normal one at the bottom. Make sure you hit the target one at the top of it so it goes in actually towards the target. We got Mark Oxo, that's put in 19.99. Thank you very much, mate. Brian Allen, that's put in 1.99. Joseph Edwards, that's put in a £1.99 super sticker. They need to be in the target ones at the top, guys, because these ones are literally just going in. I just thought it's right. Let me be completely honest with you. It has affected my wife. My wife and her family have all been through it with her grandma. It's affected Daz, and there's been a couple of weeks where Daz has been off, and it's been an hard time for him, and it's been an hard time for him and his family. And the reason for doing it is to try. Obviously, it's affected me. It's affected my wife. It's affected her family. It's affected Daz, who's my best mate. So if we can do a little bit of something to raise a little bit of money and put it out there and do something as a 24-hour charity event, laughs and giggles, beers flowing, chili challenges for Rick and all that kind of stuff, auctions from New Forest Koi, auctions from everywhere else, then it'll be a little bit of something that we can do and raise a little bit of something and give you guys a little bit of something back with some, giveaways and all the rest of it. So make sure you click on that top bit where it says at the top target, which we're at 24 of 50 now. Thank you very much, guys. Joseph, you're a star. Thank you very much. And then we have to do what we've talked about doing for quite some time. This is new to them. These guys, they've got no idea that this was even happening. It's not like being thrown at the deep end. Rick looks drip white, shocked at the fact of having to do another one of those chili challenges again.
No. Point blank refusing. I've not recovered.
I don't blame you, mate. I wouldn't have done it either.
No.
I wouldn't have done it fucking first time round.
My dad's he's at 82. Well, see, this is the thing, mate. It affects a lot of people, a hell of a lot of us. And let's face it, it's for most of us at the end of a stage in life, which makes it even more difficult, again, because they get so confused with it. They get so disorientated with it all. It's sickening to watch. It's a cruel, cruel disease. And I know that what we're doing ain't going to change nothing for those that are suffering from it. But if it helps towards those and the families that are out there that are going through it, then it's got to be a good thing, isn't it? And why that? If we can, why the hell not?
Why the hell not?
We got. Oh my God, they're all coming in now. Gary Robson's there again. That says good luck. Scrag 68, another one. Thank you very much, mate. Another £2 one again. George Made Up Fishing has put in another £2 there, and Rob Foxy Fox straight in there. So that puts us up to 28, 29. Another one just come on in there then.
How many boxes
Michael again?
You've got coming, Crafty?
Thank you very much, Michael. We're definitely going to hit it, aren't we? We've got plenty of hours left, and it's only end of the day. It doesn't have to be a big payment that you make, guys. It's just a target to get there. You could pick the smallest, or as Lee, because he's super guy that he is, whacked in a big fat one.
He's just made of money, Lee, and he's dripping in it.
He's generous, mate.
32 boxes.
32 boxes, eh? So one of them could be go on to one of them boxes. Give one of them boxes away. No bother.
Absolutely not.
You've got 32 boxes coming in?
323.
Shit, man. So the vast majority of what?
323 fish coming in tomorrow.
God damn. Road trip, then. Is that what you're saying? Road trip?
You what, mate? Yeah,
road trip.
Come down.
Guys, you boys look great tonight. You still in the bath, Lee?
Lee's touching his crotch, isn't he?
Thank you very much, sir. You're a star. That's put us up to the 30 mark. Remind people to use the target button. Yeah, everybody that's putting in a donation to get this, you have to hit the target button. It's at the top of the comments, just pinned above the bit where it says, good evening, if anyone would like to join us this evening. If anybody does want to come on, click on it and feel free to come on. But yeah, hit that target one. We've 20 to go. If we hit that 20, It's a 24-hour, and we will keep you all up to date, and we will come up with some absolutely belting ideas of stuff to do. So, and again, another one from Mr. Tate. Look at that. Thank you very much, Mr. Tate.
Twice, isn't he?
Practicing.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a slip, wasn't it? Shit. Oh, God, I did it twice. Mark, actually, we've got some questions from Mr. Tate, which we could have a little bit of a talk about while we're doing. Alan is in for £4. Right.
Can you do it twice then?
Yeah, you can do it as many
you
times.
Can do it as many times as you want. You could have
done it 40 times, then, hasn't he?
Well, he could have done it. Yeah, that's what I mean. With the amount that he put in, he could have just done it, and we'd have just been straight in there. Marcus is in there with a hang about. Mr. Tate's triple tapped his keyboard. Thank you very much, Alan. You're a star. Marcus is in there with a £2 as well. Thank you very much, Marcus. Right. Quick question then. Don't forget the target bit. Don't make a mistake and hit the other bit. But whatever comes through, I'm going to bank it all up, minus whatever YouTube takes offers, and that will go towards the funding of it. And the reason why I'm doing this, guys, is if I could set this up and do it up any other way at the moment, right? And this is not poor tail. I'm not crying a poor tail, but I have been put on short time. I want to be able to do a little bit of summer, and it's very difficult to be able to do what you want to do when you've not got no money coming through the door. So I thought if we did it this way, it'd give me a little bit of something that I could buy some stuff with to go and put back into doing a little bit of an organised charity event. Mr. Tate, that's got. God.
It's got the shakes.
You hadn't started with Parkinson's, have you, mate? By any chance? I've just whacked his keyboard 4 times.
He knows what he's doing.
Work.
Anthony Shepherd again with another $1.99. Dave State with another £2. I'm sure Dave's already put one in before as well. Right, quick question then from Alan. Is it possible to predict how long Sumi takes to develop? He's there again. Look at that. Thank you very much, Alan. Alan's making sure that we definitely do this, isn't it? He's looking forward to watching you eat that chili. Is it possible to predict? Is it possible to predict how long Sumi takes to develop? And that's a question from Mr. Tate. I'm guessing that this is really a question for you two guys, because
no, you. It was homework. I hope you've done some.
I thought I will keep you up all night. Alan's going to do it personally on his own. I will keep you up all night. What do you reckon, Rick? Is it possible to predict how long Sumi takes to develop? Well, I'm guessing kind of 3 to 4 years when you're watching a Shuru Atsuri develop when it gets to what it is at its best. So
it's not though, is it? Some longer than that.
Sometimes they look like they're banging it.
No. Depends on obviously the genetics of the fish. You get fish from the same parents that are developed differently. Depends on the temperature, how they're being raised. So no.
Can we do it? Can we do it? There we go, Chris. Yes. Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
His mum suffered.
But the answer is not necessarily no, is it? Can you put a ballpark figure on it? No. But can you have an educated response to that question? Yes, you can. However, there's so much to take into account. Like Rick's already covered a load. One of them's
I've just got
as well.
Just pause 1 sec, Kraft. All right, Lee's just said this. Check your messages, Gary. This will be up for auction on the charity night. There is a reserve. So here we go. I'll bring this up and then we'll be able to see. I was going to say this little banger, but it don't. It does. So there we go. This will be up for auction on the night. God, look at that beautiful thing. That's one hell of a kaku.
Nice, isn't it?
Thank you very much, Lee. You're a star, mate. 10 more. Come on, guys, Jig says. Right,
10 more. Come on, Lee. 10 more fish.
We got the one there from Carl Devenish. That's another £2 one there. Kim has put in there $1.99, and Paul Hutchinson again with another $1.99. If there's a chance, I will make some wood koi artwork. Sweet, mate. Nice one. There we go. Lebo's koi. Brilliant. That's what we want to hear.
Can't go wrong with this. People were desperate to spend 24 hours watching us. Mate, what is going on?
Car breakdown.
Oh, did it?
That will be up on the auction, and the koi channel there. Stunning that. It is, mate, isn't it? Absolutely belter.
Where I want to wheelie?
There's a banger for the night. There's a reason to watch. We just put it on live 24 hours and put it at one hell of a reserve. There you go. Just sit here and catch a few winks. We have it on full screen. Dave Bradley with a £2 donation again, mate. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe there from Mr. Hadfield. Thank you very much, Lee. You're a star, mate.
So what was the question? How do we determine?
The question was, is it possible to predict how long Sumi takes to develop?
No.
What variety? Which, if you've got understanding of a parent set and a bloodline, then you can have a very good understanding of what it's going to do.
But how long? It's a very tough one to crack.
What's time? Degree days?
You know, there's so many different varieties, aren't they? From Yasanki, Shiro, Sori, etc. From so many different bloodlines that. Yeah, it's one of them. And then when you put it into a pond that has so many different parameters, that some Sumi will react better in some ponds than others as well. So it's one of them that, in my opinion, is you can have an idea if you have a good amount of knowledge of where that fish has come from and how other fish from that parent set have developed over the years as well. But,
you get as like a canvas to be looking at how they've done and progressed.
Yeah, exactly.
Does it ever completely stop though?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's what I was going to say. Does it? Because there's a point in there when all koi look at the best. So when it looks at its best,
not necessarily. They look. It might have its best body at one point, and its best Benny at a different point, and its best Sumi at another point. To get them all to come together, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the dream, isn't it? You know, it's one of them. That's what we all invest into to hope that we score it. So, you know,
man, thank you.
The answer is no. In its entirety, no. But you can only gamble and hope that your prediction works. You know, I mean, I've got a Tucano. I've got a Tucano fish that I've had for now 2 years, and it come through as a kahaku, knowing it's coming from a Sumi spawning, and that fish is now developing literally 4 or 5 what look like shimmies appearing, but that's the development of the Sumi. And
you're done.
Yeah, well, last year's GC, the Sankey from Sakai, that didn't show any Sumi for 4 years.
Yeah, well, and he literally said that, didn't he?
It
literally came up in the.
You know, could you predict that? No, you couldn't, and I don't think he could. Otherwise, it probably would have went for a bit more money than he sold it.
You have to remember to Paul. Sorry, mate. Remember to hit that target button before you make your super stickers. But I will still be putting all this in, mate. So regardless, you need to hit the target one at the top of the comments. Ryan's Koi Pond says, "What have I missed?"
Watch it back.
Watch it. Rewind. You guys keep discussing what you're discussing, and I'll whisper into the microphone. We've got 4 to go. Basically, mate, there's a target at the top. If we hit the target tonight, we're going to do a 24-hour event where we're going to try raise some money for charity, and we're going to do a 24-hour live. The 24-hour live event will be me being here 24 hours with guests coming out throughout, and then hopefully we make that target by hitting the 50 of them tonight, that money and proceeds will be put towards prizes to be drawn out and given away through the evening, and all sorts of other events that we can stick on and come up with as well as. Paul Hutchinson again, 199. Mark Oxo, 199 again. So we've got another 2 more to go, guys. And the 24-hour event is on.
Yeah. I'd say I'm looking forward to it.
Who'll just come in?
Just get creating 1 beer every hour. You'd be smashed off your tits by the end of it.
I won't. I'll be sober as a judge, won't I? Going at that speed.
They should. Yeah, I reckon we should, mate. Do something like that and do it live at the forest.
Cheers.
Damn cold night, wouldn't it? We just need a big ass bonfire.
Absolutely. Yeah, you need the technology. We can't get all this going off down the lake, can we?
Well, we can if we've got a power. We could do it from inside the shop and everything. We could have.
It's not much fun in the shop, is it? If you want to be out on the lake.
Well, as long as I've got power that I can. Yes, we've did it. There we go. 50 targets being met. We've done it. So there we are. Right. The last one was 199 and Lebo again for £2 and Paul again with another £2. So we've hit the target. That's it. Tony Farmo coins still whacking them in. Thank you very much, mate.
Turn up late, mate.
Is made. So that's it. It's on. We just need to finalise dates and we'll keep everybody informed. This is gonna
super
wicked. Sorry, guys, to drop this one straight in the middle of your lap and you not know about it, but
I don't matter, mate.
I reckon it'd be good fun. And once we've done this, now we're committed, aren't we? It's just Daz doesn't know about it yet. But that was the best comment of the night there, I think. A prize if you can guess what time Daz falls asleep. That's a good one, man. we have to make that a thing.
We could wrap up a gift in lots of layers of paper, and everyone that donates £1 gets a layer ripped off, and the one that gets the last layer off wins the prize. Like pass the parcel, but obviously you can't pass it.
Just like, well, we could if we were there though. We could if we were all at one place. We could
That might need.
You're going to need a bit of technology as well, mate.
Do you reckon a fish will last that long inside, wrapped up in that many layers of paper?
Right. Craft's giving away pom bombs. Put a pom bomb in there.
Not, mate.
Teresa says, "Daz won't last. He won't. He won't at all."
We have multiple sites, surely. We need like a couple of sites.
Yeah. Well, we can do it however, whichever way whatever we deserve, we come up with, we do it that way. Times fish coming in tomorrow.
They'll be cleared at
11.
They'll be cleared at 11 a.m. Fingers crossed everything goes well. You can never tell. You might get 50 million racehorses turn up that take precedence for some reason. So yeah, they're due to be cleared at 11. Then they'll be loaded. Probably take till about 20 past 11, and then an hour on the road. So anything from 1 to 1:30, I'm expecting.
You don't want to load of people to shop. You're stashing them off site.
It's a craft. You're going live on shipment.
We're not doing the live on the shipment. No, it's it will be documented unless people turn up and decide to get in the way and do it a bit. But I'm not a big lover of the lives because the quality of the video is not the best, and
it ends up downgrading it, doesn't it?
Grades what it is that we've got coming on.
Plus, you need
the bag and box horses. That's why they take priority.
There you go. It's on.
New Forest Koi in Gaz's back garden. There's a thought. We could. I mean, I've got. We could do it live from my back garden. I've got New Forest Koi Farm fundraising day. Yeah.
Okay, right, Jesus.
But you thought you were shut to public. We might be opening it.
Yeah, it depends when we're doing it. If it's December, it'd be freezing, wouldn't it, outside? Lake would be frozen.
That's why I said we'd need a big ass fire.
Yeah,
Not
but
like
me
one
and
of those
Leah's-
barbecue
me and
things.
Leah's fishing, we
If
can't
you're
have it.
chopping shitloads of trees down this week, like you said you are, save them all. Bonfire night's been and gone, mate.
We have multiple bonfire night every week. I did a quiz on bonfire night last night.
Yeah. Mr. Tate saying, here's me going to be there for 11, Crafty.
Yeah, I know you are, mate. That's fine. You can come down at 11.
Make the coffee.
It take you a while to get round, mate, seeing how you walk.
Daz's mum has got a pint-sized garden. That's a good idea, actually. She has got a big garden.
Well, we need to work out when we're
Plans are in motion now. That's it. There's no backing out of it. So, right, we need to speak later on anyway. Obviously, the next one is from Mr. Tate. Pearl Ginrin. Do you think it will ever be stabilized?
I don't know.
And I was gutted to find this out because I think Pearl Ginrin is probably one of the most nicest Ginrin's patterns that there are. But I didn't know until people had said it, and you said yourself, mate, that as they get older, it tends to disperse. And as the fish gets bigger. I didn't know they did that.
It tends to fade away.
Fade away.
Their
Why is that,
second
though?
pretty good, aren't they?
I mean, yeah, when you get them good, but from what I see out in Japan, there's not a huge amount of breeders that are putting work into making it a more stable environment, or a stable factor of the koi. So no is the answer. Not at the minute from my knowledge, but unless I'm told otherwise, that's what I'd be sticking to. You know, it's a shame because they do look fucking banging.
I don't know enough about it, to be honest, to be something we've ever really played with. But I'm sure if they wanted to, they'd be able to cross it with normal Ginrin and back cross it. I'm sure they could.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, when you get a good one, they do look fantastic. And the hard thing is keeping it on. You know, and the best thing to do is keep it cold and grow it slowly. So,
It's like anything, isn't it?
Is that Is that sorry? Is that Rick's?
What's mine?
The Asagi.
What
That you sent me.
Oh no,
You
that's not Rick. Oh, sorry, mate, you threw me. No, that's what else I was going to ask.
Sorry, I didn't know whether I was supposed to be bringing it up for him then.
No, that's not. That's one of Mark Oxide cubes, but it's only yeah. We'll talk about it in one.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting. I got well confused, and I thought, shit, if I was supposed to have brought this up earlier when you were talking about an Asagi.
I mean, there's some absolute. I know Ryan's got some beautiful Ginrin Go Sankey coming. I'm just, it's one of them, and they don't always disappear, but the quality tends to drop off a little bit as they get older, as you're finding most fish anyway. With as they get older, the quality can disperse. So you've got to be able to get one that can keep its quality, which is the same for most koi, to be fair, isn't it?
Yeah, but like normal Ginrin, you couldn't. They used to grow. They still grow a lot slower generally, didn't they? But now you got farms doing meter long bloody Ginrins.
Yeah, yeah. But it's got again. Your Ginner's got to stay good, hasn't it? Let's face it.
That's a good idea, Claude. He did say that he wanted to do it for an event, and that's a good event that we could put it into. Wicked idea. Nice one. Right, so let's go back early days of developing Ginrin, because it's obviously you see the odd rogue scale on a fish, don't you? Where you've just got that little bit of Ginrin in one, and it always. I mean, my child's got two either side of its dorsal, right at the very start of it, and they've remained there for the last 3 years, 2 years, however long I've had it. I don't know, 3 years now. With the all-over Ginrin that you've got running through, like we used to see it just in 3 or 4 rows, didn't you? Now it seems to be the full body of the fish. is that something that they progressively develop more and more and more and more and more? Is there a chance that they could do that the same with pearl Ginrin, in the same aspect of? I'm guessing the Ginrin on a scale's been bred into him by selective breeding again and again and again. Surely there'd be something they could do along the same sort of lines with pearl Ginrin, wouldn't there?
If the breeder wants to, it's putting the time and effort in to do it, isn't it? Generations.
Yeah, took the word out of my mouth, mate.
And yeah, to be honest, it's any mutation you see in scale, color, whatever is someone who's follow that line, haven't they?
It's generations of work and getting it stable where you get a very popular breeder that produces a great quality koi year in, year out with them sort of qualities is going to be, I would say, quite a difficult task, personally. You know, we see things year on, year out throughout Japan where breeders will have good years and bad years, and you know, no 2 years are exactly the same. You know, and that stands with the likes of Diagnosing as well. Some of the fish that I've seen this year haven't been too clever that have fetched a huge amount of money as well. In honesty, I'd rather have gone somewhere else and spent less money for a better size quality fish. You know,
I've just had a little video sent to me here, which shows. Hopefully, this is going to show up enough for us to be able to see when we go in. This is obviously from Lee and Ryan while they've been over there, and the quality of pearl Ginrin that's in them. Look at, I mean, that's mint, man, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And that's what I made reference to, like when I said I know Ryan's got some absolute bangers coming. You know, but what you got to do is he's having the ability to keep it.
I mean, I could keep all those fish looking that good with pearl Ginrin. Because I can't grow them shit. So they'd look that good forever. Ryan, I can keep them for you, mate. I'll look after them for you, bud.
You know.
But you might
that's stunning, isn't it? That's far better than any form of normal Ginrin, isn't it? That
it looks tidier, but the problem is those fish might only ever grow to 60 cm.
Yes.
Or you get them at 4 years old, and that just like say fades away or whatever. So yeah, it's just.
So it's not necessarily just with growth size. Then it can be age as well. That makes it dissipate.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you tend to find if you keep fish small, it's sort of easier to keep them pretty, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd agree. I've got to agree with that. As the bigger they get, the uglier they tend to look as well. In my opinion, they do get a bit.
Yeah, some can fucking grow ugly, can't they?
Oh yeah, some can look absolutely stunning, but we've seen some, haven't we, Crafty, that look like they've got.
Look like they've been fucking
straight on top of the head with an hammer in your feet with a shovel.
But everything gets emphasized: the nostrils, the cheeks, the head structure. So once they start getting jumbo proportions, all of those things they keep growing, and the fish can start looking like pit bulls or being whacked around the head, or they get more growth, and you start getting line. You get weird stuff, but that's why good big fish are rare as rock and all shit, isn't they? It's hard.
I've just had confirmation from Alan that we was correct in the pearl Ginrin size start as well. So what we've stated, he said, yeah, he's correct.
Yeah, I don't know enough. You know, obviously, again, a lot of what you learn is stuff that you get told this will happen. This is this. That's another, and it becomes so spread that it's taken as God's honest truth until you do it yourself and find out actually it's a pile of bollocks. It's just something that's been passed along. You know, this Sumi will start here and it will develop in this way, and all this will happen. And it sounds great, but actually not necessarily going to work like
that. That's true. I mean, there's other parts of like if we go back to the Sumi question, you've got your Kage Sumi as well, which people don't understand. You know, on top of that, you've also got your Boka Sumi as well. You know, your faded Sumi.
Is that Boca?
Boca, yeah.
Boca.
And it's like a faded Sumi that sits under the skin and never develops.
You need to send me some of this homework so I can have a read of it.
You know, it's things like that. You know, and when you look at the likes of Shinoda against Akawa Shiro, they're in two different ball games. I've got one that's now 3 years old, and the Sumi is only just starting to break the skin. You know, but then when you look at your NND Sankey, I've got that Sumi's up second year and really starting to pile it on, which is what I would expect. Because when you look back over the years they've been doing that, you tend to see the Sumi development hit 3 to 4 years in to their development when the Sumi starts to look its best and is fully developed, i.e. pattern-wise, in the actual skin itself. So, you know, there's so many different variations, you know, but it's also understanding what part of the Sumi it falls into, what variation of Sumi as well.
Whole minefield, because we get it from the same spawn and there'll be different types, different fish behave differently. It's an absolute nightmare. But that's
with that on let's say, for example, right, those fish there, and you were saying like gets to 4-year-old or gets to a certain size. Is it because the scale of the fish has grown to such proportion that the Ginrin is almost disappears because it's lost within the size of the scale?
But on the pearl Ginrins, it's probably more to do with the scale. As the scale gets thicker, you can't see it.
The gin no longer
scales becoming a great big thick. If you take a scale out of a 90-centimeter fish, it's
they're a thick wedge. It's a proper piece. It's more like a fingernail, isn't it?
Yeah. So the whole complexion of the scale changes, doesn't it? So yeah.
So the pigmentation of the Ginrin is now below the surface level,
and also that amount of. I want to say, go on. In my head, what makes the Gin sparkle?
Oh, come on, Vic, you'll be able to tell us that one. What's the name, Vic?
At the time, isn't it? So
you only have to look at a Gin fish, don't you? And you know, there's only one real contender for excellent Gin that I've seen, and that's in the Yellow Monkey, in the Ginrin Karashi that Dainichi has produced. When you get a good Gin and it stays in the scale when it gets to over 60 cm, you know you've hit fucking top form. But how many Gin fish do you see that are small that look absolutely amazing, but then they get out, you know? It's a quality that people don't think ahead on, you know, but it's not always something that you can predict either, because it looks so good when it's young that it's very difficult to know how it's going to patter out anyway. And again, that you've got to look back at bloodlines and varieties and where they come from to have a real understanding of what chances you've got of getting the quality.
You could say the same about like a Platinum Ogon. A Platinum Ogon at a 1-year-old, 2-year-old look just glow in the dark, white, getting big, and they look flat, yellow, kind of off creamy colour. Very they can't get the shine as big fish, can they?
No, it's the same, mate. Yeah, and I think that comes with just age. You know, skin thickness as it starts to come, you don't get that vibrant colour popping through.
So the next one, is there a food that can affect Ginrin?
That's a good question.
I don't know. But yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? I don't know.
I'm thinking back on. I can't think of anything from anyone that produces a food that stipulates that it doesn't affect or enhance skin quality.
Probably not, is there? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you can change skin quality on a fish with water conditions and food.
That's quite an interesting topic, really.
Mr. Tate.
Mr.
Tate, can Ginrin be affected by certain types of foods?
Or water, or chemistry?
Water's got.
I would have thought water chemistry would probably be because it seems to affect everything else pattern wise, doesn't it?
I think it's the ability to keep fish with good skin is always going to play a part of how well that gin looks as that fish gets bigger.
But can you physically ruin it or improve it? I don't know. I've never paid enough attention to them to.
It's not something I've thought about, to be fair. That's good. That's a good question.
I've got a lot of Ginrin fish on the farm this year. I'll have a go. What happens to them.
I can't. You're right, Rick. And
presence of there's the word I can't say. Guiney.
Whatever it says.
Ginrin.
And high levels of that one as well.
Chromatopores.
Chromophores. Chromatophores
is just the colour, but it's the guanine, whatever that is, how you say it, is what is the sparkle.
There you go.
Reflects the light, which is why sometimes Ginrin, when you see a fish swimming towards you, you don't see any Ginrin. It turns around and it's fucking pops. It's like,
I've got a bad ass shisui at work that's like that.
Don't you say you ain't got Ginrin shisui yet, mate?
No, I've got mate a banger. Yeah.
Did it come in a small mixed bag of?
But yeah, it's only the presence of something in a scale, isn't it? So it's one of those things you can breed into pretty much anything or breed out of anything. It's a recessive gene, so you can play around with it.
Who produces the best gin?
New Forest Koi.
This year, it's my special manga mix. They love it. Turns everything sparkly.
Well, so there's a lot of sparkle come out in your spawns this year, mate. A hell of a lot of Ginrin.
I don't know.
I think we're going to be quite pleasantly surprised with the gin that's coming out of Japan this year.
Yeah,
there's a shit ton of it.
I thought they were going to be a big thing this year because it seemed to be becoming more and more popular, doesn't it?
Well, I called it actually on your live quite a few months ago, and said, I think that the next big thing's going to be gin coming out of Japan. I could just see the way things were going.
I beat him to it.
Did you beat him to
it? I said, didn't I? I said single coloured fish would be making a big comeback, but. Oh, way out. AU the Future said, my Ginrin Kahaku has magically gained a perfect jet black spot. Is it common or could it be a health issue? It's a shimmy.
Yeah, nothing. You generally find that you'll get a beautiful, really dark black spot.
It's a beauty spot.
It is.
So when take away from about Ginrin, then when you're at Shinoda's, they do good. They're known for their Ginrin shower.
Yeah.
Did they have any non-Ginrin shower there?
Yes.
Or did they do Deutz?
Yes.
I've never seen their Deutz stuff and their Ginrin stuff. I've never seen normal shower that aren't Ginrin. And the only way you can do that is by using two Ginrin parents.
Gardens are the best.
It has to be Gin and Gin together to get Gin.
No, you can. We get the best results by mixing the two, but most of your offspring, you only get a percentage that are Ginrin if you mix the two.
He does have normal Gosanki. You don't see lots of them though.
No, but if you mix two Ginrin fish, basically all of them are Ginrin, or as good as.
Oh, okay.
But you tend to then reduce the growth of the fish tends to really take a dive. So by using a non-Ginrin and a Ginrin, you tend to get stronger Ginrins, but then not so many of them.
Yeah.
But
which is probably why you don't see so many coming out of Shinoda. You know, when you see his fish house, it's 80% Hiatsuris.
That's
But he does have a pond of fish that he grows out, but then they're free to whoever wants them because he don't put his name to them because they're not his varieties.
That's how you do it, don't it? You run by what you do, don't you? And you know what you do.
What did I have last year? I had Ginrin Achiba and a real fucking nice Tancho out of his pond, and there's not many Shinoda, Ginrin, Achiba or Tancho that you see trolling the streets in the UK. They're very few far in between, but I was fucking banging. I sold immediately as well. So
yeah, no, I've only we've got his stuff. We use his stuff for a lot of stuff, but only 3: the Ginrin showers, the Deutsch showers, and Hitsuri, and that's what he's known for. That's what we got. But other than that,
yeah.
Why is it that? I mean, as you were said earlier, but I mean, it's kind of changing a little bit now. But why is it that they grow slower because of the gin?
I think originally it is because if you're limited in your choice, you're a breeder and you produce fish, and you suddenly got one that's got a bit of gin in it. Chances are it isn't going to be the fastest growing one, but you keep that as a parent because it's got that desirable trait.
Right, I'm with you. Yeah, the more that, yeah.
And suddenly you've reduced that growth aspect to create the Ginrin aspect. But it's in the last Terra and whatever have gone, well, I'm going to use this thing that grows like an absolute weapon.
Beast.
Use a decent Ginrin and create Ginrin that can now
grow like
is it 97 centimeters, that fish?
When you look at Pineapple Queen Momotaro, Ginrin Kahaku of that size is a phenomenal figure within that variety, isn't it? So, straight away knowing that you got genetics and structure of that fish within a spawn set is what then starts making them valuable. Because, when you look at the race to achieve certain things, he's achieved it first. So people are going to pay a bit more top dollar in order to have that in their pond,
Yeah, to have that growth and structure on a Ginrin fish was just unheard of.
Yeah.
Question for the panel. I was sent this from my dealer this week. I wanted to ask if you know of any information.
Send the information. We'll have a look.
Well, you've only got so many words you can put in, so I'm guessing there's going to be another bit to come.
What sort of dealer was it? Like a little bag of green leaves?
Don't get caught walking around with that in your pocket, mate.
It weren't fluke treatment. It weren't enough.
That's not PP, mate.
That's crystal meth.
Well then, Brad, what was the question? The tension.
You're going to show a picture? No, have I missed that?
Or maybe he has. No.
Why
are you refresh just in case?
Want some water? Not a water boy.
No, nothing come through yet. We would love to answer that question, but we shall be back after this short break. There'll be a lot of them on the 24 live short breaks. Is that one fresh for dog, Mike? A ball's big enough for dog to bath in.
Yeah, they've got to have water, haven't they?
Mine to get that.
Dogs, man. Look, it's like I drink so much. If you only had a little poxy bowl, man, you'd be up and down all night. Fuck that.
The worst thing though, mate, when they come over and they've just had a mouthful, like especially a staffy. A staffy just comes over and they don't do they? Walk over to you, open the mouth and just go, bleh. Just pours out the gob, you end up being wet through. Still watching, guys, just had to leave the chat. Phone battery died. Cracking live and well done and hitting the target. You know it makes sense. Cheers, Jigs. You're a star.
Jigsy.
There we go. Right. There's been a tax increase to the breeders and they are struggling to get feed for the fish. So next year's prices are going to go through the roof.
Where's Brand Family Koi Adventures from?
Where are you from? Brand Family Koi Adventures area. Don't you mean you want? If you want, you can put in your full address and your bank details, followed by the free numbers on the back of your signature strip.
The breeders in Japan get
They've
really
had the
well
best
looked after.
season. they've had a fantastic season this year, and one of the best seasons they've had in years.
Yeah, out the mud ponds. But that's been more temperature and water related than what they was last year. They had struggled. They got too hot. No, very much a drought. No fresh water, etc., which really stunted growth levels. But this year has been a real good balance. So they've had one of the best growing seasons for a number of years, which actually has meant that fish sizes for Nisai this year are bigger, which means that we've not had the ability to fit as many as what we would expect at Nisai level into a box. So therefore, they do get a little bit more pricey.
Bigger stock, bigger fish, more water, more box.
Yeah, but again, it's one of them.
Getting more for your buck, though, aren't you? I suppose as well.
Well, yeah, you are, mate. Because I've got Nisai coming tomorrow from 30 cm to 52 cm Nisai.
I say you got some big ones, didn't you?
So it's huge, and normally you would expect to get around 830 to 35 cm Nisai to a box. Right, we've been pushed down to 3 to 4 fish. And that's
obviously that's going to have a carry on the cost effectiveness of bringing them in.
Well, it is, mate, because you've got to remember that the cost of the ship is per box. So therefore, you're paying your fee against that. So unfortunately, you're not dividing it into 8 fish, you're dividing it into 3 to 4, to cover the cost of the fish. Therefore, the fish is going to go up. But with regards to feed for the fish, that's just an absolute load of bullshit. Unless you educate me, that is bollocks. I don't care what anyone says. And that there is Saki Akari are putting a price hike up on their sake from January by 7%. So the thing that we're hearing from Japan though is that sake has not increased in Japan. It's only increased over here. So it's something that we're chatting about to the supplier. But other than that, there's been no massive, from what I'm seeing on pre-season, there are price increases coming. But
that doesn't necessarily mean there's price increases for them over there, does it? That just necessarily means the shipping and bringing them over and getting them here to the UK is why we're seeing a hike in it.
There may be some price increases on fish as a result of keeping them alive because there's increases in fish food over here, right? But it's nothing to do with Japan. Nothing. The prices that I've been getting for my fish have been reasonable. Probably a bit more than what we'd expect, but Gaz hit the nail on the head. You're getting more fish.
Yeah,
so they're not going to sell them cheaper. They're going to.
We watched enough of the lives, mate, didn't we? And sorry, the lives of the videos and stuff. We watched them together, kind of a couple of nights.
Yeah.
And the fish that they were coming out in, like even Ryan was saying, wasn't it? Look at this. Look at the size of that. That's like 15, 20 cm bigger than normal.
Yeah, well, I mean,
some of them were like 56, 58 cm. One of them, wasn't it?
Well, put it this way, mate. I had a Nisai to Sansai, Tancho Sankey from NND. That was, I think, 43 when it went out, and it come in at 62. And for a 2 to 3 year old fish to come back with the amount of body that it's got on, with that amount of growth, is just fucking insane. That's cost me 400 quid on its own just to get back, which isn't something I was expecting. But I was expecting to be able to put another fish in that box with it, but it just outgrew it. So
yeah, you have to starve it now.
Nah, mate, I'm going to keep it fed up. I'm really looking forward to see how that's turned, because when we showed it last time, it was fairly pink, weren't it? So I'll be really interested to see how well conditioned it's been over that couple of weeks I've had it. So
probably a lot, but now just spent 24 hours in a box.
Yeah, I know, but yeah. Hopefully I'm broke. It's always, when they snap the tail and shit. It's like it's twitchy bum time, isn't it? This time when you're out, the outlay that we've put down has been hefty. For our Nisai fish this year, because I want to take us a step further at the shop. So because we had a good year last year, we've put the money back in. And I've gone a little bit bigger, but photographing skills have improved. I've got some little bits in the bag that, as a shop, I want to put out there and offer that no one else is offering as well. And see where we go. I'm really looking forward to this year round. Really
next year.
Yeah, the year. Yeah, next year. The season ain't stopped for me, and it shouldn't stop for people either. The fish are they're gonna get put up for sale. There's some already up. You've got to get in there early if you want them. Don't sit and wait around, because I promise you, sit and wait, they'll go. You select, not that, I mean, not all of them will go immediately, but if you want the best ones, you've got to get in quick. Otherwise, they will go, and then you'll be.
Your prices including until the spring.
Oh yeah, I'll do free over wintering. Yeah, there's no way I'd charge for that.
Cheers, Matt. I'll have the Asagi in the spring.
That's all right, mate. You can have it in the spring. I ain't got no.
You've already sold it to someone else, I reckon.
No, I haven't, mate. I haven't.
It's got to be done these days, hasn't it? You got to keep people's fish, haven't you?
Well, the thing is, mate, right? If you're going to close your ponds down, right, which actually I think if you're a decent breeder, right, or a dealer, sorry, you keep your ponds open all year round as much as you can, and for establishment as big as mine, we've got to offer 24/7. We can't just be a 7 or 8 month trading affair, so from next week onwards, we'll continue doing auctions, right, and fish will be available for overwintering. Why wait till next year, when the spring comes, if you can buy it now and then look forward to the shipment coming in. They'll all be guaranteed, so it's not something that if you're spending good money on fish, we'll guarantee if it dies, then we'll replace it with another fish. It's simple as that, isn't it? Fish shouldn't be dying at our establishment, and I certainly wouldn't send one out that's not fit for purpose either. So we'll look after.
Was in that. Mark says, so when is Gaz starting crafting? Tomorrow morning when I fly down there, and I'll be dibsing every one of them fish. Dibs.
Hey, you're welcome to come down, Gaz, if you want to come down. It's no problem, mate. Anyone.
Might be,
shop's open. Shop's open. So if you want to come and have a look at them turning up, and
secret first dibs, man. I mean, who else is going to get a chance of doing that?
Well,
apart from Mr. Tate, because he'll be there as well.
It's come down and put a shift in, move fish about, and that, get you involved. Even if you
says it's always the season.
It is always the season.
It's always, yep. Good Christmas presents. Give them a photo of the fish they can't have till the spring.
Yeah, there you go.
But that's something to look forward to, ain't it?
It is. Yeah, it is.
Bring up that little thing, Gaz. Look.
Just take a ball of doom with you.
Yeah.
It's a big ass ball of doom. Yeah, and that was a good lead. That was a good tie in there. That was a good tie in that. There we go. It's almost like we had that plan, mate.
Well, we didn't, and I didn't either, to be fair. I was just thinking of things to chat about. So, it's only a prototype, and not everything's perfect on it. Like the fish is slightly off center, right, in the picture. But one thing, my photo skills, as you can see, there have improved massively. I've managed to crack the code. This is already sold. Actually, this was sold to Mark Oxo Cube. So, what I'm going to be offering out with my auction fish now is a certificate like this.
One of them.
Identification certificate. It's going to be available in paper form, but also digital copy as well. So
that's a wicked idea. That the digital one, that's cool.
When you bring up when you're like at the koi shows or down the pub or wherever you are at club meeting or whatever, right? Who takes the fucking certificates with them anywhere? No one, right? So having something like this little folder in your phone or on your computer, you can keep records, and there's no better place to keep them than digitally. So you've always got them available, haven't you?
And it's also a way to remember your email address and your telephone number. Look at that.
Wow.
It's like a business card, isn't it?
Yeah. Who'd have thought it? But I think that is, it's a little touch that I'm doing. Been thinking outside the box. I put this out to certain people for feedback, and this is what we're doing. But Mark, yeah, Mark's
a ring binder.
Mark, these all the fish that you collected recently, mate, that were photographed. This is what we've produced for you. So I've got one more left to do on it. Once that's complete, I'll rocket them over to your phone number, mate. So you've got.
Then you're going to have that thing, and it'll be presented with a red file full of all your fish. Like, this is your life. This is your fish.
So what feedback on that, guys? Is it something that you'd be interested in or not?
Yeah, I think
not, then I won't do it.
I think, well, yeah, guys, let us know what you think in comments. If you were buying a fish from Perfect Aquatics, would you want it to come with one of those as well, as so that you can have your own little identification certification, breeder info, and all the rest of it, variety, sex, age, size, purchase date that you got it? Would it be something that you would? I mean, I think that'd look well in your. Not everybody can afford to buy a certified or certificated fish, but to get that still gives you the information of where it's from, what size you got it, and you can compare that from there on in. Whether it be in a digital format, you've got a perfect picture if you wanted to put it in on your koi control.
Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
I think that's it. Yeah. Bang that in your koi control. You've got all the spec, all the information, and perfect for development info. Yeah, 100%, Dave. It's a brilliant idea from Anthony.
So I'm going to put a patent on that, I think.
Oh, yeah. At the end of the day, a lot of people would like it as well. If it's digital.
You cut down on print costs as well, man, because cutting out fucking photos and laminating sheets and, it all comes at quite a cost, and it's quite labour intrusive as well, especially when you've got quite a lot of photos to do. When you do your events, when you got 50 or 60 of them, it's a pain in the ass, to be perfect.
But provided with a digital format of that, Crafty, everybody can print their own off, can't they?
Yeah, do what they fucking want with them. I can trade them like fucking
Pokemon cards.
Maybe we could make them into a Trump set.
There you go.
Oh, there's an idea. I might do a set of playing cards with fish on them.
It's just nice to look back before I ruin it.
This is what it used to look like. It's got 2 tails and half a head.
Silver foxes, where? Yeah.
What does that mean?
I'm straight out of Rick, me. Silver foxes. We're all. If Daz would be the true silver fox. Crafty's more of a silver beard, so
more of a silver back.
Definitely becoming a silver fox myself now, mate. Well past that. Well past it.
That's right. As long as you don't look like Schofield, you'll be fine, mate.
I'm heading that way. Pure white.
Yeah. It's distinguishing, Rick. That's what it is. Shows character. Or a fucking hard life. Or stress. Lots of it.
No,
I'd love one of those for the Kajaku I got, Crafty. Was 24, now 33. Banger.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go. Gone down well, mate.
Can I show your Shiro, Rick?
If you want to. Yes. I don't know what you're talking about then.
Rick's
I didn't know I brought another one.
Mate, I'll just put them on and pretend you've bought them.
You missed that little gag anywhere earlier on in here. That were a good one, that Scrag 68. When you said who's the best producer of Ginrin, and Scrag put Gordon's. I got it, mate. We're a good one. I did flash it up, but they were too
Makes
deep.
you cry though if you eat too much or drink too much of it, doesn't it?
So why are we not handing our results in anyway yet? Did I just get it completely wrong?
Doing a 2-year, isn't it?
No, we're doing a year ready for the new growing show.
Mine's smaller than what it started. I mean, that's an achievement in itself.
Mate, there's something wrong there.
It's perfect bodied.
No, just I want the results about a month or a couple of weeks before the next event, and then we'll go from there. But what I will be doing is those people that took part. Take that down now, Gaz, if you want. What we will do is those people that choose to take part in what it was all about, i.e. the NND Shiro, we'll probably keep it for the following year as well. So we take them through a year-on-year progression.
No, I've got a chance of putting some size into them if we get a good summer.
Well, irrespective, mate, of whether they put on 50 cm or 10 cm, we'll still see development across the board.
I've seen development in the Sumi of it, mate, since the water's cooled down. And the one I got from you, Rick, that had quite a bit seems to have receded and coming up in different areas. It comes up at the front by the head. Then that bit's been quite there all throughout this year. That bit on the head is now sort of like retracted a little bit, but now coming up at the mid-body section, them areas are coming up. I'm hoping it just comes up at some point or some stage, makes its mind up what it wants to do. But that's what I like about them, though. I mean, they take some working out, don't they? You get to see a lot of different stages of development in them.
Yeah, that's turning into a banger, mate, ain't it?
That one, yeah, my one is. But one of the, I picked a male, a female, and a good one, didn't I? That was the plan.
I knew you're going to have a go spawning them next year. Did I hear right? Did you say that you've got some NND Suras to play with? Do you reckon you'll be able to get them to go?
Yeah.
I mean, what development have you seen on it, Rick, since you got it?
That one, the Sumi's come up shitloads.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah, I haven't got a photo of it. It was 20, so it's 20, so it's now 40.
Hang on,
developed eggs.
I've got it.
Yeah, the white skin on that's lovely. Yeah, developed.
Yes, Greg. I am. We are. Well, you still do. The idea was to get the interest to see if people were going to be interested in us doing it. So, Dave Bradley says, "Good live, thank you, and good night all." Good night, Dave.
I haven't got the first photo though.
I've got it, but not on.
Oh crap!
Phone or anything.
I was going the wrong way.
I'm not sure I ever took a picture of them. Yeah, that was just from a few weeks before, but it's
yeah. No, but it's still come up more. Even on that right flank, it started to pop more, isn't it? You know what's interesting for me is what's going to come up over the head,
and down through here and round here, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be nice if that joins together and makes a nice U shape. I think that'll.
If it marries into the little bit at the side there, on the side of the body too.
Yeah, I think it will.
Yeah, no, I'll have. We've got a few different lines of Shiro, so. Yeah.
What do you think about this, Rick? Do you think that will recede more in the pec?
Quite possibly, yeah. There's a bit in the other one as well. We can't see it on that picture, but that's the best of the three by a country mile. It's when I picked them, I picked the most female. That's full of eggs already, but it's Sumi's all down. It's almost a plain white fish.
Yeah,
male. It's just got a yellow head in it. That's the trouble with the males. If they haven't got a lot of Sumi on the head, they tend to have that yellowy face. But yeah, that one's coming up nice. Yeah. So yeah, we might have DK line Shiros available by the time we do the show and grow. I'll have the babies.
what a fucking bloodline to have.
Yeah.
And you can certainly push a Shiro through your ponds, mate. They come out brilliant, don't they? Let's face it.
They do seem to do all right.
Simon's just put in there. My Ginrin here at Suri is still growing nice, but I'm still holding at 20 Cs. Be good to get a digicert. Right, I'm going to say this, but you tell me if I'm wrong, Crafter. I don't think he's going to be doing a back catalogue of fish that have been and gone. This will be a future progression.
Yeah,
because I mean that could be a never-ending task of.
It's got to be because, well, put it together. Today, I put together, and this is the sort of things that you don't see, but I put together a photographing regime for week on the fish that I want photographing on what days and how many fish need to be done daily in order to achieve it. So by the end of December, working on 20 fish on a Tuesday and 20 fish on a Thursday, week on week, we will complete all of our Nisai by the end of December. So that's how labor intensive that is. And that doesn't include the editing that goes with regards to dropping the fish onto a blue background, straightening them up, and then doing all of the admin tasks with filling out what fish it is, where it's from, etc., etc. I mean, it's not going to take a huge amount of time, but nevertheless, that's still stuff that needs to happen, and it's about having a process. Then on top of that, they'll get uploaded onto the website. That goes through another process, but then our website is also selling a fish that's inside the shop as well. So that then follows another process. So we don't double sell a fish. We don't sell it online and then in store. So, can I
say do that, mate? Because
we've done it. We've done it before, and it's easy done because there's so many people involved in looking after the fish and the sale of the fish, and we get so busy. It's very easy sometimes just to lose track. So, it's just about managing it properly and whatever. But it's something that I want to push, and no doubt we'll get it wrong in sometimes. And thank you, Mark. But if I'm honest, it's what's needed to keep pushing us in the way that we need to go. Yeah.
Well, that's at least 2 days' work completed by Crafter this year.
Only two.
Oh no, technically 3, but you were a day off.
Yeah.
You did get a bit of bad back from all that netting and stuff down at farm. If I remember right.
Yeah. Well, I nearly fell in Rick's pond.
Shit, man! You nearly did and all. Oh God, I was so close to smashing your face off the edge of it, man. That's what got me. How you did not headbutt the side of that pond were beyond me. And catch your glasses before they hit water.
Yeah, that's good, wasn't it? It's
like
reflection.
And I didn't even get to see you go in.
Oh, you did. Oh, well, it's on video, mate. You can see it.
Yeah, that was a touching cloth time. That was.
Yeah, that was a close call, mate. What a close call. For all those, I don't know if I said it at the beginning, but for all those that might be wondering where Daz is, he has had a couple of days, a couple of weeks off, obviously to get over things and bits and bats and everything which has been going on for him and his family. But this week he's actually away on holiday. He's having a bit of quality time with his wife and his kids, and they've gone away. So that's where Daz is this evening. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he's back in time for next week, and everything should return to normal. We've pretty much, other than one topic, and it's the same topic that's been touched on time and time again. Could you and the panel discuss winterproofing ponds without heating it? And we have gone through this one, but pretty much the best form of heat or winterproofing your pond is to put some kind of a poly tunnel type structure over top of it, innit? And maintaining as much heat in there as you can. We've spoke about it on in depth about putting polycarb on and what benefits it really does. Maybe keep the wind chill off, but there's not a great deal much.
It all depends what you want to achieve, what you call winterproofing. You know, there's absolutely no requirement whatsoever to do anything other than let the pond be the pond.
Yeah.
You know, in hindsight, if you want to put a bit more protection on, cover it. Right. If you want to chuck a shitload of cash at it, build a structure around it that you can take the walls down in the summer. Very similar to what Lee's done to his pond and Sharpie on his pond, you know. But there's no requirement. It's like, you know, it's you'll get some benefits, but you know, I've kept a pond for years and years and years, and you know, if you don't cover it, my fish still survive. You know, as long as you come back on the food and you know just maintain your pond properly, then you'll have no problems. You know, you've just got to keep checking your fish. That's the big issue that people fall back on, is they don't look at their fish over the cold belts. You know, and that's when you really need to look at your fish.
This is a bit that I touched on my last video, mate. I mean, I still go out there, still do what I've got to do, still go out and do a filter clean, still, you know, the filter clean, I'm saying doing a water change, but not technically, I'm just adding back what I've taken out from the filter cleans. They still require the same level of care throughout the winter months and going out and regular checking on them to make sure that they're coming through it all right. Going into winter and making sure that your fish are parasite free, so they've at least less stress on them. Doing some scrapes and a general check over on your fish to make sure that you've not got any with, you know, problems or issues that you can't necessarily do or treat because the temperatures have dropped off, and trying to get that pre-winter, autumn through into winter preparation done beforehand, making sure your pond's nice and clean and such and everything. Filters are good cleaned. And
The other thing where people fall foul is that we've seen now the temperature sort of change in the UK now. We have a warmer October year on year. I mean, it's been really mild here today, and this week's been really mild. So what you'll tend to see is that fish are more active up looking for more and more food, right? And people may just be inclined just to feed a bit more. But you know, you've got to watch your water when that happens, because your filter's not as good as it was in the summer. You know, so it's little things like that. But if you come right off the food, you know, you don't really necessarily need to do a full filter clean during the winter periods, because if you ain't putting nothing in, nothing's coming out. You know, it shouldn't need to be as regular. So you know, just your filters will tell you what's happening in your water anyway.
Yeah.
There we go.
That is us this evening, gentlemen. We are out of topics, unless anybody else has anything they would like to have a natter or a chat about, or any questions they would like to put in. If not, speak now or forever hold your peace. And until next time.
3 hours. Just think we'd only have 21 to go. 21 hours to go. 21 hours to go.
21 to go. All right, I've just told my wife that we were doing it. She thought it was a brilliant idea. So
it's a good idea. Something no one's ever done, mate. We can work together, make it work.
Yeah. And get your lass every now and again to walk in and clout your back of your head, make sure you're still awake.
Oh, mate, I'll be awake. I can do it.
Don't sleep.
She said I don't sleep anyway.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It should be a piece of piss for you. I mean, I can do a 24-hour stint easy. I do it regular gaming, so
I can't do a 2-hour stint.
You're fucked tonight, mate. You've been holding back them yawns all night. I've seen you,
mate. I was down the pub last night. I normally play football on a Wednesday, but pub quiz night.
That I will say is, did you win?
Second. Won a load of beer. Got absolutely battered and won a load more beer.
Wow. Way to do it. But that's what I was going to ask you. What was your surprise out of your mud pond yesterday? Anything stand out?
The Shishuis is just.
The Shishuis definitely did good.
They've done really well, but Yeah, the growth overall has been pretty good in that pond. So, but 500 Nisa out of a pond's enough, isn't it?
It's a lot of fish, mate.
It's a lot of fish.
There was one in that bucket, Rick, that you posted today in group chat. That one in that bucket looked mint, man. The blue on that was so vivid. It was, but it looked like it would got a blue, but the dorsal looked like it was orange, which really set it off against the blue.
A few you tend to find those that have got the redder Benny and more pattern have darker heads. So it's a bit of a playoff because you don't really want dark heads on them.
Yeah.
But it's just, that's how it is, isn't it? But yeah,
look forward to seeing the Gin ones come through next year. Should look mint. Did you just get supper handed to you then? You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
What is it?
I broke down to them. That's why it's late.
Yeah, she broke a car. So she's
late. Broke a car? Wow, what happened to it?
It broke down. So
broke down.
Yeah, she probably broke it.
I didn't mean that because I knew it was online.
Didn't put that stuff in it.
When last time you checked it for oil? I'm going to shut my mouth before I get virtual online clout.
A wallop.
There we go. Well, we've got no more questions come through then, guys. So what we're going to do, we will be back in touch with you all, obviously, because we'll be back here next Thursday. But we will be back in touch with some more details of when we're going to we'll all have a sit down and have a natter and a chat and a talk about how, what, where, and when. And we will come forward with all those. And then obviously I will be going through and trying to invite as many people that I can to take part within the 24-hour live. Mr. Tate, I shall put you in there as you were so keen to keep us and make sure that we will be, New Forest. We could do. What Vince missed some that's not normal. Yeah, he did miss some. He did, but yeah, we'll more to follow in the very near future. We'll have a sit down and a chat and a natter between us, and we will come up with a cunning plan for exactly what we're going to do when we're going to do it. It will be this year, so the sooner for me, the sooner the better. Yeah, there's an idea. Could be Perfect Aquatics. Yeah.
Be anywhere, couldn't it?
Could be anywhere. Yeah, we will. The more
we'll get a cat on site. Let's go there.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good idea. We could have a 24-hour chef to cook for us.
Well, that'll cost money. I'd have
You've got a bar. You've got a bar as well.
Yeah, we are.
Crazy golf. We could do all sorts of shit, man. We could do everything down there. It's a wicked idea.
Okay, we'll talk. We'll
sort something. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining us, and a massive thank you to everybody that's donated again this evening and made that we can get that event up and going. It was kind of a last-minute decision, and these guys had absolutely no idea about it. But those are always the best ones. Those, when you plan too much, never end up being the best events. Those that are done sporadic and random always fall out to being some of the best events that you get involved with. Usual thing, guys, if you've been enjoying this kind of content, if you could do us a huge favor. Oh, hang about. What's happening next Tuesday? Auction night, up and coming next Tuesday with Anthony and Perfect Aquatics and myself. And there's also going to be an auction this Sunday night with Ryan and Lee live from Japan, which will be taking place on this Sunday evening, 7:00. So tune into that one and then tune in to join me and Anthony on Tuesday night next week. You will see us again on the following Thursday. Look at Rick. So yeah, busy. We've got a lot going on the Koi Soldiers channel, Mr. Hadfields. Check it out, guys. See you there Sunday night, 7 p.m. Usual thing. You've been enjoying this kind of content, guys. Do us a huge favor. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. And until next time, keep smiling, guys. And we'll catch you on the next one. Good night, all.
Yeah, good night, you bunch of cricket bats.
I'll
see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, damn right. Good night, all.
Evening.
Cricket bat.